the things I'm putting together here, and the truth is out there. So we're definitely going to get to that. But first, let me shout out my tribal chiefs. And if I miss anybody, you'll get shouted out on the next show, I promise you. These are people who join the tribal chief level membership either on Patreon or YouTube. So Scully Vibes, Andre Adams, the God King Bob, Gilgamesh, LK, Sass Prophet, Peter JT, Crispin Hua, Jamie Earhart, Cruz Madrid, Derek Hans, Liam McBlain, Eric Galperin, Ninja Boy. Shout you all out so much. I acknowledge you. Don't have the acknowledge me yet. And if I missed your name, don't worry. You'll be on a future show. I just, I got to update it once a week or whatever day I do it. I try and do it routinely. But, it's a grind out here for your boy Phil. So I've got a lot to talk to you all about today and to laugh at, and this is going to be a good time. I'm going to show and play some things, and I'm going to rant and rave about it, I guess. It should be pretty good. Oh, and also I've got some incredible guests lined up and coming on. I did Ant Evans over on Toonie Talk, and I'll be interviewing him one-on-one. We'll get to dive more in depth with him here on PWT in just like a few weeks. And I got some people that I'm not going to drop names yet because it's not for surely lock and key, but it's like happening, And oh man, exciting. I'm just embracing that grind. You guys know what I mean? All of my sound effects are like they glitch out, then I got to hit it again and then it works. But whatever. We're working through. It's a Monday, guys. It's a mundane Monday, but either way, we got a lot of wrestling to talk about, and we're going to dive into film marks, bookmarks. And so, guys, speaking of crossovers that could potentially happen, right? I don't know if that's a good transition. I have some hot news for you guys as we gander into Phil Marks bookmarks. Ringside News, they reported, and various reports are reporting, that WWE is interested in alliances with Mexican and Puerto Rican promotions, especially considering they're expanding into Japan and they're doing TNA crossovers domestically and all of these sorts of things. It makes a lot of sense that would be, their initiative. And it's no surprise, right? Lots of talent from there. And I bring to you, Carlito has ties in Puerto Rico. His family has been in the pro wrestling business down there forever. Also, you have Conan, who's managing Rey Mysterio and is also the booker for AAA. So these are expansions that could and will and should definitely happen. Obviously, like you look at the talent they have from those. Sorry if you guys hear Raw. I'm watching Monday Night Raw. I got it on in the background as I pod to you guys. Yeah. And so I'm just excited for this. But speaking of crossovers, so that's going to happen, and that's a really good thing. But speaking of crossovers, I mean, so it's also reported here, WWE is looking to establish promotional partnerships with companies in both Puerto Rico and Mexico. So I don't think they're like trying to monopolize again. Yeah, we're going to take over the wrestling industry. Tell Harley Race. I don't think they're going to do that. I think what their initiative is to have all of these things functioning that they can take talent from and exchange talent with and do good dealings with and expand. Like, it's only going to help when wrestling gets more popular on Netflix, and then they reach out to TNA and WWE goes, yeah, we work with them. They're great if you want to have them on Netflix or, or whatever. Right. So this is wonderful. And I want WWE to expand just like, UFC internationally. That's one of the greatest things talent wise that happened to the sport. Was when that happened. But like, international crossover, speaking of that, Pro Wrestling Noah the other day, I think we covered it on the live show, but they said, we have a very special secret wrestler announcement. You know what I mean? Like, someone from WWE is going to make a special announcement involving a crossover match with Noah, Pro Wrestle Noah. So, Keiji Muto, a.k.a. the Great Muta, the legend, wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura, of course, in Noah. And they did that crossover already. Well, very popular wrestler, Marufuji, who I believe Dave Meltzer's like Mirufuji's the best. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure these guys are always like, well, Mirufuji. So, and I'm not like terribly familiar with him, okay, but I'm definitely familiar with the name. I've heard people putting him over. I've seen a little bit of his work, but like if we're talking clips and shit, that doesn't really fully count. And you know what I mean? And so AJ Styles, though, is the guy. AJ Styles is the mystery partner, and I'm just sitting there like,
you what?
This is insane. Another reason why talent would just stay with WWE. You guys got to remember, and I talked about this all the time, billions of times on the billions of episodes of PWT podcast. I've talked about how, dude, they were going to let Bryan Danielson go to Japan. Like they were going to do that no problem if he signed with, as opposed to AEW. They were prepared to do that for him. And yeah, we're just seeing that come into play. You know, Nick Khan is not just like good for pro wrestling, but I believe truly deep down, he's like a fan of this shit. Like, how would he? There's no way he's not, you know? There's no way he's not. And I believe he grew up around like the Rock's family and that. So it makes perfect sense that why wouldn't he like wrestling? But yeah, dude, it's announced AJ Styles will be heading to Japan to face Naomichi Marufuji at Noah Destination Live on July 13th, 2024. That's in a month, dude. So I'm checking out Marigold when it goes down, whatever's going down when Io Sky goes there, because she's going there to wrestle someone as well. And I'm going to be watching Noah for this, you know, if not for just this match, I'll search this one out individually if I have to, but it's going to put eyes on their product, and it only helps WWE. And you also see, guys, WWE, this is why you need to listen and not miss this show and not miss these clips if you're consuming this in clip form, because no one brings these things up, man. You know, WWE, you can see with these high angle suplex, and especially the NXT talent, they're training them to work a little more strong style, because we're going to see these crossovers and the people that translate well in NXT, etc. They'll, you know, we'll see maybe some names go main roster, who knows, but they're letting people in the wrestling industry know, hey, you do want to work for us, and WWE is expanding, and there's no reason to, you know, like they're not going to overbloat the main roster, especially. You can tell like they have their core guys, you know, but as far as like, you know, give some of these guys, give Mirufuji a match in NXT or whatever. It works. Seth Rollins kicking off this Monday Night Raw. Huge pop from the crowd. Crowd goes insane. I'll do play-by-play during this podcast for Raw as well. So you're getting a Raw review added into the show as we do it. What? Yeah. So that's incredibly interesting, and I'm incredibly excited for that. And I'll be definitely checking it out. So, speaking of WWE talent, CM Punk screwed Drew McIntyre out of the title as the guest referee at Clash at the Castle. And a lot of people melted down. A lot of fans were upset. We're going to read some of the IWC melting down here, and he had some comments. So also Triple H had some comments as well. So what I want to play to you guys, is at the Clash at the Castle press conference, CM Punk showed up, and some smark asked him a question, but Punk was in a mood, as he is, and he has baked goods as well. So people knew he was going to turn up and say some wild shit. People knew it was going to happen, and I did as well, you know, obviously. Like, what else was he going to do? That was the implication. Like, look, dude, I'm going to say some wild shit, you know, and it's going to be hilarious. And yeah, people on social media ran with it, and I'm going to play you what Punk had to say at the press conference. Then I'm going to play you what Triple H had to say about Punk, and then I'm going to show you what the IWC had to say, and then I'm going to show you what other wrestlers and celebrities had to say about Punk, man, because it's just been a day of people hating on Punk and people melting down, and I don't know. So here's what CM Punk had to say to this mark during the Clash at the Castle press conference, which this triggered people as well. Here, let's play it here.
Should just be a Hell in a Cell match right out the gate.
So this guy goes up to CM Punk and says, man, the feud between you and Drew McIntyre is so good that it should just be a Hell in a Cell match right out the gate. And then Punk's face is like, and then listen to this Mark-ass question. Like, guys, I'm trying to get I'm going to get a media pass. I'm going to be asking these questions one day, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. No, I'm just joking. That's like not my goal whatsoever. You know what I mean? But if I did get in there, I would do some funny shit. I would like Alex Stein them, and I'd say I wouldn't be a dick, but I would like maybe Alex Stein's kind of a dick. Yeah, maybe that's a bad example. I would be funny. I would make it funny, and I would I would like RJ City them. You know what I mean? Shout out RJ City. Anyways, here we go. But I just don't want to do this. This is cringe. And I thought they weren't going to let media in here. I thought that we covered it on the show. We're like, they're not letting media in, or like they will, but it depends. And then they let this Mark ask question in here to ask Punk this question. Sorry. So I just wanted to preface it because it's a little hard to understand, like, what is Punk responding to? But this guy's saying, when you and Drew finally meet for the first time, it should just be a Hell in a Cell straight away. And this is Punk's response.
Should just be a Hell in a Cell match right out the gate. What do you make of that? And is there anyone else on the Raw roster that you've not faced yet in this run that you'd love to face?
I mean this with all. What was your name? Jamal. I mean this all due respect. This is why I'm happy that you do not run a professional wrestling company. First match is a Hell in the Cell. Brother, you got to take that fantasy booking.
Oh, did someone say fantasy booking?
This is great.
So he just cooked him. So Triple H had this to say about Punk at the press conference, the press scrum. And I want to play this for you guys. Shout out Triple H's thoughts. And this was funny to me because I don't know. Triple H, you guys will know why, right? Like, just compare it to Tony Khan and I feared for my life. And I made the joke on the live show, like, Cody Rhodes is brawling backstage in Gorilla. I wonder if anyone feared for their lives. During the event with AJ Styles there during Clash of the Castle, I was like, I wondered if anyone feared for their lives. And so Triple H,
will be back.
Here's his comments on CM Punk in general. And I don't know, this is legendary. And Triple H's thought says there was no place in AEW for a guy like this. And just listen to what Triple H says about Punk in contrast to Tony Khan. I feared for my life.
He will be back soon.
And also the people backstage in AEW who hate him. Oh no, he tried to take he's a menace, he's cancer.
Obviously, you haven't seen the last of him. He is a man that will hold a grudge. He will see that grudge through to the end. But he mentioned some things up here, and there is a change, and there is a new era, a new atmosphere, a new all those things. And yes, absolutely, in some ways, they are things that he was asking for and started a long time ago. And at a time that maybe he and I, for a lot of reasons, just saw things differently from each other. And we saw eye to eye, but it was angry eye to eye. And it was opposition.
Angry eye to eye, yeah. Is that like ruthless aggression? Yeah.
Eye to eye. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have him back. I cannot tell you.
We saw eye to eye, except for he was looking up my nose. No, I'm not gonna make big nose jokes. That's low hanging fruit.
How exciting it is for me to see the Phil Brooks that I wanted to see then. And while maybe my efforts to get that were taken wrong and it's what led to friction, I always knew the Phil Brooks that I see today was inside there.
So let's just break that down for a sec, like only Phil Marks can do. So what's he saying there, guys? Back then they butted heads because the Triple H saw CM Punk teaching the next generation, and all of the way Punk is now. Triple H is like, dude, I saw the writing on the wall, and I'm trying to tell him that, like, the grass, not that he's trying to say the grass ain't greener, because AEW wasn't a thing, but he's just sitting there saying, like, back then we butted heads because, like, I was a company guy and I knew what he could be. you know, and like you know, he could be this guy, the guy he is now, like working with the next generation and do this and that. And though we both saw this finish, we both saw the finish line, just we had different routes of getting there. Does that make sense, guys? So Triple H is essentially, I don't know, putting Punk over back then and currently, regardless of any bullshit between them. And he just said it. He's right. It is a new era. And I don't know. I think it's really cool how, let's say Triple H is talking out of his ass. Okay, he's talking out of his ass. But if he, like someone down here is like, he is so full of shit. It's like, I don't know. Are you just an AEW? If I click on this, are you just all A, you know, probably. So either way though, because if you don't change over time, you're losing at life. You know what I mean? So life is literally about growth and learning, you know? So whether or not Triple H means that, like whether that's actually his thoughts back then, it's what he's saying now, and that's what matters, because this is what the public knows and this is what he's brought to the public, you know?
Just couldn't express it in the right way. So
and especially like he's saying I couldn't express it in the right way. Well, because he was a talent also. So it's like fucking Kevin Nash. We're watching Who Killed WCW, and maybe I'll watch all of those episodes with you guys on Patreon. But it's like, you know, Kevin Nash had the fucking pen and he's wrestling, you know? He had the pencil and he's wrestling. You can't do that. And Vince could do that because he wasn't like wrestling all the time, you know? So Triple H is in there wrestling against Punk at Mania and he's in the office and Punk's like, all right, you know? So now that it's coming from a place of Triple H is like, no, like I don't need this match, and we don't need. Let's be honest, Punk needs WWE now more than WWE needed Punk. That's why WWE's paying him less than AEW was. Not that he's worth less, really, but you know, Tony just overpaid everyone. But yeah, it's whereas back then Punk was saying Triple H needs me more than I need him, and that was true. WWE needed Punk more then than they do now, you know. So the circle of life.
As much as this has changed, he has changed, and I've got to tell you, it's amazing. And I'm excited, and I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited to not just work with him, but just to be around him. He's a pleasure to be around in that locker room. He's a pleasure to be around as a performer. He's a pleasure to be around helping other guys to grow, to change, to just impart what he has learned, not only as a performer, but also as a person that maybe was on the wrong side of things and figured it out along the way. And that's valuable information that he can share with another generation that is becoming behind him or is coming behind him. And I just got to say,
coming behind him.
I'm thrilled and excited to have him here. And I'm thrilled and excited to not only work with him in a talent role, but work with him to create the WWE that both he and I always wanted it to be.
Damn. So there you go, man. Stark contrast. Now, those were good.
He will be back.
This is like a, sorry about that, but so good words, but not everybody has good and kind words for CM Punk. In fact, there's a lot of toxic, unhealthy, crazy ass people. Some of them are famous. Some of them are Ryback, which I'm so here's at ONMC00. Shout you out on X. He tweets out with a screen grab of totally normal, healthy behavior. And it is at someone called Wrestle Crooks. I don't know. Fuck you. You look crazy. You sound crazy with this. But he goes, what's the point of Drew working hard as hell to get himself over again, to get screwed again? Is fucking Vince Grape McMahon still in charge? And it's just, I just don't get it. And then this guy down here, fuck you too. Yassine Claymore at CM Punk at Triple H. This guy continues on, and he retweeted it. This guy goes again, made a whole effing pay-per-view about him to embarrass him twice. Did he effing F Stephanie McMahon? You know? It's like, bro, chill out. You know what I mean? Rhea Ripley can get her fucking win in her country, but Drew can't. F Triple H. I don't want to say it all because then YouTube will be like, bruv, calm down. But it's like, what the fuck? Here, I'll drop one right there. Like, bro, calm down. This is insane, and this isn't even it. Like, this is just the beginning, you know? But just calm down, bro. it's storytelling. Like, you're not enjoying this. So like when Scar kills Mufasa, that doesn't make you want to see Simba whoop Scar's ass more. You know, it's just the circle of life. We're doing Lion King references here today, guys. If you haven't figured it out, I don't know why. I haven't watched it or anything. It's just what happened. Things happen sometimes, folks. So he's just losing his mind. I get it. There's a lot of fans. There's a lot of these guys that when Drew early on in PWT history, where these guys were like, we're bookmarking all your tweets about Drew. See, you liar. He's not going to get the IC bet. And they just want, and like literally these people's tweets are like, Drew needs to murder everyone. He needs to come back and kill this guy and go undefeated and just walk through everyone and get the title. And it's like, that can't happen. Drew just signed a big ass deal and these people are freaking out and he just did a job and they don't think that he's getting his down the line. And also I called it, I was like on Wrestling Soup and then again on the live show, I said, if I was Booker, I'm having Punk screw Drew McIntyre in Glasgow and there's a fucking riot. That's me. The feud doesn't need the title. The feud does not need the title, man. Punk and Drew is bigger than even the world heavyweight title. And that's what you need sometimes. In this industry, it's so important. Before with Vince, is Vince Grape Man still in charge or whatever this guy said? It's like this fucking, look at this guy, man. I can't even like.
Emotional damage.
It's like, dude, if Vince was in charge, he'd put the belt on them when he didn't need to. Like, we're in a position where Damian Priest and whoever he fights, probably, hopefully Gunther, that it elevates, that's elevated higher. Like, it elevates whatever they're doing higher than whatever Punk and Drew, or like, than it would be just on its own. Like, do you guys know what I mean? If Priest and Gunther or like Drew and Gunther rematch, like the whole story between them is Gunther's had Drew's number as well and Sheamus's. So we're going to get, guys, listen to me here. I'm going to X-Files it for you, but we're going to get Punk Drew. And then we're going to get fucking, after that, Drew, when he's like a baby face, after everyone gets behind him and everything, we're going to get him finally be the one to maybe get that belt off of Gunther at Mania. Because Gunther's always had his number. So there's the story there too. There's all of these different compelling avenue. And like, you have to remember, Gunther gets the title shot. So then the next move is just Gunther Drew, two hot heels again. No, man, it makes sense. You do Punk Drew at SummerSlam, the first match. You know what I mean? Like, you carry this on until Seth comes and then he gets in the mix and all of those guys can fight without the goddamn title. It doesn't need the belt. And then the belt elevates Priest and Gunther higher than they are without the belt. You know, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It would have made sense for Drew to win it there, but next year, if he like beats Gunther for it or something, or next time they do a clash and then third time's a charm, that's good storytelling too. And that's a hero. It's not about how many times you lose, baby. It's all about the comeback. It's all about how you dust things off and how you handle things and keep trudging forward in life, ladies and gentlemen. If you get any value from this show, let it be that. And so these people are melting down and this guy, look at this. So he continues and shout out Julian Weeks. This guy continues. This is the same guy, but like more of this guy's tweets. Okay. And he goes, F CM Punk, F Triple H. I hope you effing die of a heart attack and fuck WWE. I'm done and effing sick for effing so low IQ, dude. Just, you know, effing years of waiting for this absolute shit. He should have never re-signed. And if you're offended, fuck you too. No, buddy, you go toss, because I'm going to sit down and screw, because I'm going to tell you something, buddy. Like, and he deleted this because he's a clown. Okay. Because he's a freaking goofball. Yeah. I had to limit. I knew for this segment, guys, like I'm limiting the F's. If my vocabulary will open up a little later in the show because I'm limiting it because I knew this was gonna. I don't even know if I can show all this on YouTube. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you're offended, bleep you too. What an ass. Just an unhinged over wrestling, dude. I get it. You're schoolish or whatever. Calm down. Like, enjoy the ride, bro. Like, were you this mad when I don't know what you're into, but you know what I mean? Like, Aunt May died in the last Spider-Man, and then Peter went and whooped some ass. You know what I mean? Were you freaking out when Aunt May died? Like, things gotta happen, dude. Things have to happen to tell a proper story. So this was an absolute meltdown. But the Punk hate didn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. The Punk hate did not stop there. Oh, no. Oh, no. So we have Ryback and ICP, Insane Clown Posse. At ICP, officially, they tweeted this out, and there's more than one tweet. We're going to go through this thread. And man, this is crazy. So Insane Clown Posse they tweet out like a screen grab. And now I don't know, guys, I'm sorry to the juggalos. I know that some juggalos and juggalettes have probably listen into this show, but guys, I'm sorry. Like, I get holding it down for your friends, but if you've seen Violent J in interviews lately, he's looking rough as shit, dude. He looks bad. Like, I'm all about the juggalos and all that, but dude, ICP, like, they side with Colt Cabana. So that's all you gotta know. I don't care about picking sides. Like, I'm cool with Colt Cabana personally. If I saw him, I'd fucking probably ask for a picture. Like, I'm a wrestling mark end of the day, and I don't have any personal shit with him and Punk. But at the end of the day, like, he is a component in the whole situation. And if Cabana, like, this is clearly the type of shit that they're talking behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're friends with Cabana, then obviously Cabana and Violent J feel comfortable talking this type of shit with each other and behind closed doors. A lot of people are like, listen, man, punk rock kids and juggalos, like, yeah, they don't mix anyways. So no doubt it's not a shock that, ICP is hating on Punk, but for whatever reason, they're homies with Colt Cabana, and that's cool. There's no like line in the sand with the fans, but there kind of is, and there is with celebrities and people in the business as well, because ICP is that. But this is dumb because they're doing work with NWA, and you just saw Billy Corrigan, like ICP is, and you just saw Billy Corrigan doing a video with Drew McIntyre, like for socials, and NWA was retweeting it. I know ICP is not strictly signed to NWA, but they're doing work with them, and it's like, bro, why would you do this and then further this divide and further just expose how Colt Cabana and the Bucks and all of these guys are talking shit to ICP even about CM Punk? Why? You guys are friends with Colt and them, cool, but like, I'm not talking shit, but Punk straight edge and Violent J is also, go watch interviews with him lately. That dude's tweaking. Now, again, I'm not talking shit, but I know people who are in Violent J circle, as far as like maybe have been around the same females and people. Let's just put it that way, okay? And like, this dude's tweaking, okay? Like, I'm just throwing it out there. Don't hate them. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just keeping it real, man. From all accounts of what I know, of firsthand accounts, that people that would not make this shit up and go watch interviews of them, so it only makes sense, okay? Motherfucker's tweaking, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. And so he doesn't like Punk, probably thinks he's a straight edge punk rock pussy, and juggalos are like rap whatever. They're into everything though, that's the thing. But I'm just saying, people on X are like, yeah, the straight edge punk rock dudes and juggalos, they butt heads. I've seen a lot of tweets like that, so it didn't really enter my mind until I read it online, but I digress. If you want proof, I don't need to justify anything I'm saying. Go look at Violent J's recent interviews on anything. Just watch him for 5 seconds and you'll go, yeah, dude is tweaking a little bit here. So, or he's off something or something, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that's him sober. I don't know, right? I'm not trying to judge or hate. Do him. I'll never hate on homies, whatever. This is between Punk and them, but like, god damn, man, you're really gonna just like put more heat on Colt. Colt Cabana don't need no more goddamn heat, Violent J. But anyways, Violent J says, fuck CM Punk for life. And he tagged him. He says, you wouldn't shake our hands in TNA, little bitch. And you clown on the only real friend you ever had in Colt Cabana, you bitch. Oh, so I guess Punk wouldn't shake their hands in TNA. I don't know. We got to hear Punk's account on that. I shared my bank account. So Violent J says, I shared my bank account with my mom before she passed, you little insensitive bitch, you little heartless alien. Damn, he don't like Punk. So here's like a screen grab of what else he had to say. He goes, suck my D, you little weak bitch. You couldn't beat a jobber in UFC. Okay, dude, Mickey Gall's not a jobber, but Michael Jackson, the guy he fought after, is a jobber. Yeah. It's in your fucking nearly pathetic little joke. Come beat me up, bitch. You suffer inside everyone, and they mama knows that. You suffer inside everyone, and they mama knows that. Get your head right, you little suffering ass bitch. Violent J of Insane Clown Posse, just as legendary as you, little bitch. Face it. Damn, dude, that's not
You what?
that's not like that's an L, dude. I'm sorry for for Violent J there, dude. Like, he's on some shit, rambling, going crazy. Let's just be real. That's like a drunken Twitter ramble right there. And I don't know, man. That's crazy. And they posted it on IG. Like, they want everyone to know, like, nah, fuck CM Punk. So I don't know what they're trying to do, like, drum up more controversy. This just makes Tony's gonna book him right away. Let's get AEW, let's get ICP on the next AEW show right away. That's what he's gonna do, or that's what ICP thinks they're doing, thinking they're going to, not there to, because this is Violent J. I don't want to bring Shaggy 2 Dope into this, but maybe he's like levying, like, damn, maybe Tony Khan will, maybe he'll give us a a little work. We need a little help here. We need a little extra Skrilla. And maybe if we talk some shit, Tony will be like, oh, come on. Who knows? Who knows? It stresses me out. I got to smoke in Minecraft. So Ryback quote tweets in, and he goes, at Ryback says, glad it's not just me and Drew McIntyre that have issues with CM Punk. Okay, Ryback, don't be a mark. Clearly Drew is working, and he likes Punk probably a whole ton. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, bruv. So yeah, Ryback is like, glad it's not just me, and then he tags his stuff. But it's like, Ryback, sorry, buddy. You were like, if Punk comes back, I have to retire. You didn't retire, but look, you're going to have to retire again, because Ryback said, I give it 6 months max. If I'm wrong, I will retire. It's been 6 months. Ryback gonna have to retire again. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Shout you out, though. If you'd like to come on the show anytime, you are more than welcome, but I doubt you will. I think because I got mad when you fucking blocked me, and then I kind of talked some shit. But anyways, so transitioning off of that, that's coming off the back of Clash at the Castle. Now, at Clash at the Castle, there were some botches that went down, and it had to do with the ropes. And I want to talk about this a little bit, because Jade Cargill, so she got a lot of heat for, like, I don't know, she's gotten some heat online. And I called it out on the live show. Like, she had boo-boo face, and there's a video of her. I forgot to bookmark it here. I did, and it didn't work. No, I'm stupid and didn't click the thing. But there was a video of Jade Cargill after the match too, like tapping her on the chin and saying, like, keep your head up, keep your chin up, because she had boo-boo face going down there. Like, you could tell they were doing the job, and they didn't even actually get jobbed. Like, it was Shayna Baszler who got pinned. I called it and said Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are going to win. And I actually went like 5-0, 4-1 if you count. Like I said, okay, if you put a gun to my head, Drew's going to win. But, CM Punk if it was me, I'd have CM Punk screw Drew. So I count that as 5-0. You can go watch PWT live show. And I predicted all the matches right there live on the show. I was 100% correct. And I said I'd put the titles on Dawn and Fire, and I would have Fire pin Zoe Stark. Well, it was Isla Dawn pinned Shayna, but the same thing. Triple H listens, confirmed.
Bonus.
I don't know, guys, but there were botches, man, and the ropes were a little loose, and but Jade had a bit of boo-boo face, but she got heat because she botched this springboard move, and AEW stands are clowning her, and then you have WWE guys being like, oh, she needs more training, and you just have people melting down, and it's like, dude, it's one botch, but overall the ropes were loose. And then you have AEW fans going like, oh, they knew the ropes were loose and they still let them go out there. And you guys have people taking exploding super kicks and front flipping through glass windows and shit. You don't have room to talk whatsoever. But these ropes, for whatever reason, were loose. The referee, if you look at the top left corner, which we're going to look at first, so everyone just pay attention to the top left corner if you're watching. If you're listening, I'll describe it to you. AJ Styles is walking in the ring, and the referee warns him about the top rope and goes, "Look, this rope is loose. This rope is loose." And AJ checks it. Yes, it's loose. It's loose. So the ref warned him. Now the next ref is Jessica Carr. Different refs for each match, so that could have been a factor. But here's Jade going for her springboard move, which she's hit before. So now we're paying attention to the top right. And if you're just listening, Jade at the pay-per-view, I'm sure you all saw it, Class at the Castle. She does a springboard move, slips, and wipes out. Rope is loose. So it makes total sense why, especially that top rope, right? And so she wipes out, whatever. Bad recovery, had to slow down. Shayna tried to slow her down. Then Jade botched again. She was tapping to try and tell Shayna to like ease up, it seemed like, but you're in a fight, so you can't be tapping. So I gave her a little bit of shit, and rightfully so, right? Like, you take your licks, man. Like, she doesn't get better. You don't get better without criticism, but I didn't bury her. I was like, she'll come back. It's just a little off night, but she did have boo-boo face, so that kind of, and then you could tell she wasn't happy with her performance, but Bianca's like, chin up, and that's right, man. And she got thrown to the fire, and she's living up to it, I think, so far, but I don't know. People are talking shit on Damian too, but this just added to the match so much. And I actually give Drew a bit more shit for this spot if you're looking at the bottom, because he instantly reacted like, oh no, I got to save him. Like, I got to fucking like spring up and check on him. And even though that's your friend and everything, it's like, no, but Drew did the right thing. He just started stomping him, and then the ref couldn't get his leg untangled. But so then Drew was like, during the match, he's like, I'll untangle him, and he motioned to the crowd like, I can't get the belt if I don't, like, I gotta. So Priest though sold his leg brilliantly throughout the whole rest of the match and the press conference, and I don't know if he's actually injured or not, but he sold the shit out of it. So we're looking at the bottom screen, and if you're just listening in, so Priest goes for I believe this is a middle rope plancha, and you see his foot slips there, and he gets tied, and the reason he's tied in the top rope is because the rope's so loose. Drew checks on him, starts stomping him, but yeah, he wipes out. Nasty spot, could have hurt his neck. Added so much to the match, though. Like, if we're really being honest, like, it made the match so much more memorable. Like, everyone will remember that, and Drew losing. So I don't know. Like, comment below and let me know, or what. I think you can comment on Spotify and stuff now. So let me know what you guys think, or if you're watching on YouTube, listening on YouTube, like, what you think about these botches. But I'm not giving, like, to me. And like there's people giving WWE shit like, oh, they knew the ropes were loose and they didn't. It's like, dude, sometimes, like, okay, Priest was hitting the ropes right before. He feels them, right? So he's counting, he's on himself. Like, it's not just like, oh, WWE, like, Priest is taking the chance as well, and he's not stupid. The match was going for like 5-10 minutes before this happened, right? So he felt the ropes. You know what I mean? I'm sure he was made aware of it. I'm sure Jade was too, and they were like, be careful. And they're probably like, we got this. Like, Jade was hanging onto the ropes the whole time. Maybe she slipped because she's a little green, but Damian Priest knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? He just, and it's not like, so the ref shows AJ the one ropes, the same side that Jade's standing on, and then Damian goes off the other rope. Now, if you know wrestling ring ropes, like, the top rope all around is going to be the same, so they all know, you know what I mean? It's just Damian hit the middle rope, like he springboard off the middle rope. Now, what the top rope being loose did was got him tied up. If it wasn't so loose, he may have still just flipped outside and Drew would have caught him. But because it was so loose, it just whoomp, wrapped right around him. So I don't know, man. People are giving these guys hate and going, if AEW, but so many botches on this botch show, and it's not really so many. I mean, every Collision you see this much. Every wrestling show, it's rare where you get it's so pristine these days, is what I was going to say there. Sorry, every WWE show is so pristine. Like, it's rare you see botches like this. So when you see multiple on a show, it's like, okay, that's a rare thing to have happen. So, like, yeah, did it deter from, I think Jade's deterred from her match, and it exposed her a little bit, because then she just started getting moves in and doing shit, and wasn't slowing down until Baszler grabbed her in a headlock. But Priest, it just added to the match. It just added to the epicness that was that world title match. So speaking of disastrous botches and Cody Rhodes, I don't know. Cody Rhodes reveals the disastrous meeting between Tony Khan and Matt Cardona, transitioning into AEW news and wacky AEW stuff. Cody Rhodes reveals the disastrous meeting between Tony Khan and Matt Cardona. I'm going to click on this article here, and we are going to read it together. Cultaholics, shout them out. So back in 2020, Matt Cardona, and he famously said, we covered it on the show here, Matt Cardona famously said, like, I had 2 matches and 4 t-shirts or something. He's like, I don't know what Tony Khan's doing over there, but you know, so that's hilarious. But you know, Cardona never ended up signing with AEW, but a recent appearance on Major Wrestling Figure podcast, Cody Rhodes said that he was looking to help bring Cardona on board. And due to the pandemic, the scenario saw Cardona and Khan hold their talks at an after party, something which Rhodes regretted. So Cody Rhodes says we should have flown Matt Cardona in, or we should have done it at an office somewhere. The setting was not great. Cardona said that he thought the meeting would be private, but there were prying eyes everywhere because they're at a party. Right? So here's the quote. It's so great that you got those because it was so insanely awkward for such a period of time. Because I noticed, you know, when Matt gets nervous, the shoulders tense up, his face gets a little more red than it already is. You can feel his energy getting nervous. So I noticed he was a little nervous about this meeting, which whatever. I'm not judging that by any means, but he hasn't told me anything that he's going to say. Of course, I trust my best friend is going to be just fine with this, and I don't have to do anything besides the introduction. This is how the conversation opened up, and if I could have taken a friggin' back bump on the cement, I would have taken a back bump. It was so shocking. Tony starts talking, and before long, Matt goes, well, let me stop you right there. Now, this is in front of people. So he's already got a bullish fortune favors the bold approach to this, Cody explained. And so Matt Cardona goes, let me stop you right there, Tony Khan. I want you to know that I don't want to be here to be Cody's friend. I want you to know that I wouldn't be caught dead wearing a Nightmare Family jacket. This is happening in real time to me, and this guy that I suggested comes in as my friend. So Cody Rhodes and Tony Khan could only respond, oh, okay. And the rest of the talk was described to be insanely awkward and not productive. So Tony Khan's like, yeah, this is great. Come meet me at a party, haha. And then what happens? You know what I mean? He it's just a shitty conversation between these guys. And, you know, because it's in front of all these people, and Cody pitches to them, hey, yeah, he's going to come in and be my mystery friend. And then Cardona's like, I'm not going to be Cody's friend if I come in. I'm being fucking Matt Cardona. So it just went downhill from there. And again, why the fuck would you invite Matt Cardona? Maybe that's some of Cody's bad, but why would you invite him to talk business at a party like that unless you had some like back room or you had some other way of negotiating? I don't know. That seems really weird. And it just, again, it just highlights the lack of leadership and the awkwardness from Tony Khan. And while on that topic, you know, Undertaker questions Tony Khan, and he says he doesn't know if Tony Khan is the guy to run a wrestling company and hopes that one day AEW gets their crap together. And I really do too, man. And Undertaker says, hopefully one day. I mean, a lot of people don't think the way that I do, but one day AEW gets their crap together and genuinely creates some competition. That's probably not a popular take from most insiders, but the way I look at it, I mean, competition's only gonna make you better. I don't think there's a real true leader in the locker room, and I'm not sure. I have nothing against the man. I don't know that Tony Khan is the guy to run the company. His heart is in a good place and he wants to do something, but I just don't know if he has the ability to make good judgments and swift decision making to run a wrestling company against the juggernaut that is the WWE. But hey, I could be wrong. I hope they get it together. It's better for the wrestlers, the fans. It's better for everything. And hopefully they don't. Rest in peace. Yeah, dude. So yeah, dude. I mean, and then we have people quoting and going, Who likes The Undertaker? Undertaker's overrated. Like, I'm sure if we look under here, there's people like, yeah, he is right. A lot of people are saying he's right. Is he wrong? Undertaker just wants to see WWE struggle the same way WCW made WWF struggle. Exactly. But people are like, a lot of people are just like, oh, he's an old podcaster. People still like The Undertaker. It's just these fucking goobers, man. It's just these absolute dummies in the IWC. But we're still talking about Tony Khan here as we move along. So, and we're talking about AEW wrestlers as well. Okay. For instance, we have Rocky Romero, who took on Shota Umino at the Rampage tapings. And he got injured. Some sort of injury. I'm not sure if he's their U.S. champ currently, but shout out Shota Umino. He's a tremendous worker. He's sort of like new Tanahashi, you know? Umino walked to the back under his own power after, but was said to be in a considerable amount of pain. Shout out AEW Neckbeard says, color me shocked. So he got hurt. And then another Japanese talent who's competing in the New Japan G1, shout him out, but like, okay. Konosuke Takeshita tells Inside the Ropes he calls AEW the most mentally exhausting period of his whole wrestling career. The guy's like, how old is Konosuke Takeshita's age, dude? I'm going to Google it live on the show. He's 29 years old. It's the most mentally taxing period of my... I stopped having fun. Dude. He said he stopped having fun, man.
You what?
Tony.
Dummy, yeah.
You know, and this isn't it's an angle because Callis doesn't like he's always hated. What are they going to say? What are you guys going to say about this? You have nothing to say about this, man. Just awful, dude. And it's just the lack of leadership. Undertaker called it out. He gets called trash for it. He gets called names for it, even though he's one of the GOATs. Like, there wouldn't even be an industry if it wasn't for guys like Undertaker sacrificing his literal hips, literally sacrificing his body, you know. And there's just no quality control. There's no creative control or like quality creative control from Tony Khan. He's letting everyone do what they want. And for instance, the Wolf of Wall Street shirt that was made by MJF, who we're going to talk about in a little bit here, just in a moment, right? They have the shirt that's like jacked in black or whatever, you know, like the Will Hobbs shirt. They did the Britt Baker black eye shirt. They did the God, they do so many just ridiculous t-shirts. But then here's the newest one, Nick Wayne's mom. And I quote tweeted this and I said, this shit is made by middle schoolers for middle schoolers. Like, look at this. This looks like an AI generated t-shirt. I mean, yeah, Nick Wayne's mom is a baddie and she's thick. But like, they AI paint her booty, make her look like she's got a BLL. There's like a BBL, a BLL. What is that? Bacon, lettuce, and lentils. I don't know. A BBL, pardon me. And then like, you know, she's got a car behind her. I mean, cool. I get it. And she's a baddie, but like, who the fuck's gonna wear that? That's like, someone tweeted too, who's gonna wear this in public? And someone responded, they're like, Nick Wayne. But either way, this is just an awful shirt. And then, to make it worse, we may have covered this on the show, but Tony Khan, they make this, dude, AEW for the...
You what?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, they're so sick. Let's all be sick together. This is great. Oh my God. A for the sickos. Like, he went ahead and made this, and I quote tweeted this, and I was like, please tell me this isn't real. Like, this is a troll, right? Embarrassing, man. I don't know. And that's not even like fly, like for the sickos. Imagine walking around with that on your shirt. Now, a lot of people are like, aren't sickos like usually? I don't know. Just imagine walking with that and around with that, and people are like, what is that? For the sickos. Like, I don't know. Look up the definition of sicko. Let's do it here live on the show, folks. Except for it's pre-recorded, so it's like Time Cop, and I'm a sicko. I'm gonna puke. Let's do it. You guys remember on the 10 minutes of Tony Khan video? Tony Khan, I'm gonna puke. Yeah, I didn't eat. Let's puke. Let's do it. What was I looking up here? Definition of sicko. So sicko definition. I think we covered this on the show, but I'm just going to read it again. A mentally ill or perverted person, especially one who is sadistic. Like, Tony, Jesus.
Conan!
My word, man. You need some help, dude. You got to call for some help, bro. And then Neckbeard's an NDA non-disclosure agreement. Neckbeard is undefeated on the internet, dude. A really good guy, too, like behind the scenes, honestly. Just, I know he's a troll. He's just trolling. He's just having a blast. And, you know, Tony's, the shirts, the bad reffing, which we're going to talk about in a bit. All of this stuff, man, it just translates so poorly, and they wonder why the attendances are down. They wonder why it's become a joke. A lot of people are like, will come under my, not a lot, actually, very few, because man, I get more people because of my live show, PWT live show every Wednesday. I get more people who are in my chat like, okay, I'm going to try and watch Dynamite with you. I'm so stoked. And I have people who try, man. I get more people watching Dynamite and AEW than like would otherwise. Do you know what I mean? Like none of these people are saying, no, watch it with me and laugh at this with me or enjoy it. Dude, the last episode of Dynamite, I put it over for the first hour. I was like, they're booking this good. They at least have Swerve. Like, yes, the Bucks are ratings killers, but they at least have Swerve in the right position. And so it's like, I gotta clown this shit. Someone's got to wake up. You know, if everybody says it, and Kevin Kelly's gonna say it later, and we're gonna play some clips from him and Eric Bischoff's interview there on 83 Weeks, because he exposed a lot and nobody's talking about it. Of course, go figure. That's why you listen to this show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you guys follow this show. Like, I'm the only one who puts this shit together like this and brings it to you like this. So you don't want to miss anything I'm doing, because everything I do is like, it's one step forward in this story that's being told, this overarching, you know, documentation we're doing here, the fun we're having together, right? But I get more people watching this and watching Dynamite than would, you know, otherwise. A lot of these shows watch it and they just give basic, oh, this is awesome, but like no new people are going to tune in because of it. How are new people going to tune in? Well, you got to get cynics like myself and others who in my chat and who listen to PWT, the PWT universe. If I'm telling you guys, no, let's watch Dynamite together and come do it on Wednesday and let's share our ideas and figure out what's good and what works and what isn't. I'm encouraging people to watch. A lot of people aren't doing that. They're just hating to hate, or they don't really watch the shows, but then they have comments on everything Tony Khan's doing and saying there's a lot of people who are like that too. Like they're not even really keeping up every week, but they got all the comments in the world. Or it's people who just are given the same mundane, bland, generic shit. But, you know, it ultimately boils down to Tony Khan and the leadership. And look at this building. This building's trash. Lackluster crowd for Collision. And we have a couple different videos. And I'm not clowning like, oh, an empty building. But it's like, at what point do we like make the show look cool and put it in a fucking smaller building and light the whole crowd up and make it look like a fun time, like a party? Like, what's going on here, man? So we got a couple clips from a couple different AEW shows. Here's just a crowd shot. And WrestleTix, shout out WrestleTix. I actually reached out to them, whoever runs the account, to come on the podcast because I want to talk to them. I'm very curious, just not to be like, an AEW sucks, right? I just want to talk to them, right? Because it's an interesting account, and that account is important for the IWC and the history books of pro wrestling. Like, period, man. It's very important. And so WrestlingTix, though, they turned off their comments, and you have to DM them the pictures now of the attendances. And a lot of people are saying, yo, they are being paid by Tony now. Because WrestleTix went through a phase where they blocked like quote unquote AEW hater accounts, and then they unblocked a bunch of them. And you're seeing a lot of people do it. You're seeing a lot of people do it because they're waking up, dude, and they're smelling the coffee beans. But either way, here's the house, right? So the crowds and the attendance are a reflection of that, you know? And not only that, read this tweet. Lackluster crowd for Collision tonight, was supposed to get underway at 7, but still waiting at 7:30. So they didn't even get the show starting on time for a Collision taping. Like, what's Tony? Oh, yeah, I'm late. I have to get a soda water. I'm running behind. It's great. Man, just no good. You know what I mean? No good, dude. So here's another video from I think this is from Dynamite, right? And this is another fan video here. And these fans are heckling. And I told you guys in Canada, look, the women talent were getting harassed. dudes were hitting the ring. Last week on Dynamite, we saw guys in the front row laughing at Perry and making fun of him, going, "You got choked out." And the dude's like bigger than Jack Perry, and he's like, "You got choked out," and shit. And Perry just walked away, wanted none of that smoke. And then we're seeing like this, man, like the fans are there. This was, I believe. Oh, no, I don't want to talk shit. I read somewhere someone was like, yeah, they sold tickets like $5 to get in the show last minute. That could be a complete and utter fabrication. So I'm not going to go with that whatsoever. But just look, man, they're paying tickets to come here and just make fun of this shit now. Like,
You pleaded. You begged us to make you care.
Blood talking to.
Who's Blood talking to? They're yelling at, do you remember when they yelled at Jay White the other week? What, who wrote this shit? These people are yelling out now, dude, we're over here. Side's empty, bro. And because he's got to talk to that hard cam like a goof, and it just makes these wrestlers look like goofs, man. Imagine going to a job every day and your boss is just making you feel like shit. Like, that's where money doesn't matter. If I'm AEW, bro, I go there 1 to 3 years. I go there 2 with an option. And I just take that dough. You know what I mean? And then I get the fuck out of there. I take that life-changing money, then get out of there. You know? But listen to these fans. Like,
You pleaded.
damn, dude. And it's like, why not just go to a smaller building, fill it up on every side, and then it looks awesome and light the crowd up, and then your own fans who paid tickets aren't making fun of your show like live on your fucking show. It's utterly ridiculous. And it's just the wrestlers too, man, like their presence on social media. You know, Dax Harwood got into it with Disco Inferno on some cringe shit. I've covered Dax enough. People don't have, you know, the reffing's bad. We're getting to that. But you know, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, like even their top guy, this is their top guy. He does the Triple H cosplay thing. You know what I mean? And, you know, it is what it is. Like, I mean, I call it cosplay. It triggered a bunch of people. Okay, it's paying homage, but at what point is it? I've gone over it ad nauseum on this show. At what point is it where they keep doing WWE stuff where it becomes they're just imitating old WWE stuff? Like, at what point can we go, yeah, they're just imitating old WWE? Like, at what point is it fair to just say that's what it is? And so, I don't know, man. When you do it too much, it's too obvious. You know, that's why WWE can get away with little shots every week at AEW, because they're not egregious and they're just little pokes that riles the marks up and keeps them trending and people talking about their shit. MJF's like fully dressing like them. They're doing the spray down in the ring. He parodied the Bret Hart thing. They've done the Eddie Kingston, Claudio cosplayed the All Japan thing. They had Jericho and Guevara cosplay HBK and Jericho. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but MJF out of nowhere, dude, I get it. Like, oh, she's a big influencer and you're talking about it on your podcast and you're a dumb mark and I'm owning people. Like, I get it. The eyes are on you, but this shit just like, okay, he was gone from ever. I covered this on the show too. He was gone forever from AEW. And then his only Twitter interactions in forever was to respond to The Rock when his ex-girlfriend made a painting about The Rock. Meanwhile, he's dating Alicia Tout, and I think he's going to get married to her. And Alicia Tout just got a job at AEW, and she interviewed him when he pulled up for like a Dynamite exclusive or whatever at the start of Dynamite. Alicia Tout interviewed MJF. Like, he walks up and is a dick to her. And his response after like a long hiatus on Twitter was to respond and go, "Oh, Rock, you want my sloppy," like simping for his ex, just trying to feed off the Rock shit. So then it's like he's going at this random like e-girl, and it's like, what's going on here? Like, where's the PR people being like, can you guys be professional on fucking Twitter? You know what I mean? Like, could we get some semblance of like, stop being fucking cringe everywhere? Because I just cringed when I read, and I love MJF. I love him, but I just cringed. I'm like, what is going on? So basically, Maxwell Jacob Friedman on Father's Day, he says, "Happy going out to get a pack of cigarettes day to all the dadless poors." Now, that's pretty funny. You know, he's just roasting. He's just cooking, doing a little joke. Now, at Christina Colombiana, now she's like a Twitch streamer or something, an e-girl, I want to say. And she goes, "You used to have better material than this, my boy. My goodness, what has happened?" Now, maybe she grew up without a dad. you know? So, but that's what MJF's aiming to do. And he got a big name, like a person with a blue check. And obviously you can buy a blue check, but let's check here. I'll check her followers for you guys. She's got 22.7K followers, you know, like it's a good enough. But to him, it's just some random streamer, you know? And it's like, okay, like I guess go at her. And so he quote tweets it and goes, I'll go cry into my millions of dollars while you have to wear wife beaters you bought off Temu with your fake tits hanging out on cam and lie to yourself that the reason all 20 of your adoring fans are watching your videos is for your great personality. Damn, MJF, my God. Did you have to do her so dirty? But like, I don't know why he went off so hard on her. Like, she only's got 22K followers. Yes, he's right about these gamer girls. Like, of course, you know, like that's like a lot of them do that. Now, I'm not judging this girl. I've never watched her content, but wouldn't shock me. But this is the man of the people. He's our scumbag. We are sickos. Oh, I do it for the sickos. And he's just like, oh, go cry into my millions of dollars. It's like, you couldn't be any more like unrelatable. And are you a heel? Oh, we're gonna cheer this heel. Like, MJF should know better than Max. You're never gonna get over, and the company's just gonna die because you can't get over without faces and heels. And if there's one glaring difference between AEW and WWE besides the wrestling, it's that AEW doesn't give a fuck about heels and baby faces, and WWE does tremendously, other than the exception of Punk and Drew, for instance. But they're both so over that they could be either. And look at the difference in the business. So it's just, that's just like the basis, the foundation. Like Tony Khan's trying to put windows up and roofs up and hang shingles. They don't even have a foundation built yet in AEW. And that is, okay, who's the distinctive heels and faces, you know, which is what the foundation of every wrestling program or feud or any match is based off of. And then you go from there, right? They're trying to like build the roof before the basement's built, you know. It's fucking stupid. Anyways, but yeah, he says this, and then Christina quote tweets and owns MJF a little bit. She's like, at the MJF felt so hurt that I said he used to have so much better material, that he actually responded to me and with more straight up goof troop material. Like, what the fuck happened to this dude? And I got some money too, Lil Willie. Something your money can't fix, by the way. Oh, shit. Then she tagged her shit, her OF, Booty Lovers World. So yeah, this girl's, you know, popping that thing on the net for whatever, you know. What does Alfred Konowa say? Get it how you got it, or, you know, get it how you live it, or live it how you got, whatever his saying is. Get it how you gotta, you know. That's what she's doing. That's totally cool. I think she kind of owned him there, and round of applause for standing up and then using it to plug her shit. And also, I clown on the MJF because he always makes fat and dick jokes, and it's like, this is so like elementary level shit, you know? And she hit him with a Little Willie, something your money can't fix. Damn, that's tough. Now, it's low-hanging fruit because it's so easy for women to be like, oh, he's got a small dick, I bet. But it's also easy for men to go, oh, you just pull your titties out, I bet, you know, like, oh, whore. So, yeah, she kind of went right back and he had no response for that. So, I don't know. But also, you could look at it if we're getting very psychoanalytical and he did kind of just get her a lot of attention she may have not otherwise got. And that is his way of like, I'm not going to compare MJF to Jesus, but it's like, hey, that's his burden to carry. He just got her over a bit. Like, I just plugged her on my show. You know what I mean? This is going to be in a clip in front of thousands of people who otherwise wouldn't know who she was. And it's because of MJF. So that's like him dissing her. He just gave her a little, here you go. You know what I mean? And it helped her out. A win-win, glass half full type of thing. And yeah, I mean, that's by all accounts, MJF's a really good guy, like in real life, right? Like anybody who, you know, anybody that I know who has met him too has told me like he's really fucking nice. Not to kill the gimmick, but he's really not a prick. I've only just been told that, people who've met him like very briefly, but he's just, you see it online and you hear the stories, right? It comes out, everybody says it. they don't want to pull the curtain back, but he's like a really good guy, you know. So shout him out. And I like this little interaction, but she really got him there. But it is unlikable, like and that's what he's going for. But just it doesn't work right now when. Like if he had like a white meat baby face who could respond to his shit and stand up for this girl too, who was just like, yo, MJF, you would be, you know, tripping over, like, look, MJF, your last couple big tweets, you're tripping over women. Like, you okay? Like you, like whatever, you know, someone who can just pipe back and come up with something clever that could get some maybe heat on another wrestler in the company other than some random e-girl. That would be awesome. But I mean, what are you going to do, right? So moving along, though, and speaking of AEW talent and possibilities for AEW, Max Caster says that he wants to see Kanye West. He urges Tony Khan to book the Acclaimed and Kanye West versus the Elite. Now, this would be ridiculous, first and foremost. But the reason Max Caster is calling for this is because Kanye West randomly showed up to a wrestling event in Japan, and this is lit as shit. Shout out Kanye. We're gonna play this right here. I don't want to get pulled for music, so we're gonna like turn it way down. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna try and talk over it. Yeah, music. Here, we'll play it without the music just to be safe. But here's Kanye. We'll watch that again. So, in my opinion, Kanye's either shooting a music video or he just saw a crowd and was like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to take this shit over, you know? But either way, Max Caster's like, let's get him in AEW. I would not put it past Tony Khan. Oh, yeah, this is great. Let's get Kanye West in AEW. This would be phenomenal. He'll have this will be an awesome match. You know what I mean? I could totally see that happening. It wouldn't save shit. He would get tons of ratings, but you'd have to pay Kanye a lot, and they would also get tons of hate for that. So I just don't see Tony Khan doing that. But at the same token, who knows, man? Who knows? Anything can happen in the wild world of wrestling. But I don't know, like, what does Max Caster think AEW or like what he would do? Like, just like what, like they just train Kanye quick. Hopefully he can. I just don't see Kanye doing that. I see him maybe going in like their corner or something. But then they're doing like all that sus shit. Is he down with that? I don't know. Kanye's a weird guy. Like he was on InfoWars with Alex Jones talking, you know, and it's like, who knows? Right. But it wouldn't like shock me if we did see Kanye. And would that be a game changer? No, but would that pop a rating? Yeah, that would pop a huge goddamn rating. I'm certain of it. If they were able to say Kanye West is going to be on AEW tonight with a live microphone, and they had like Hollywood Reporter and all Hollywood Deadline and all these, if all of those outlets were talking about it, you know, mainstream, yeah, that would help them a lot. But then Tony Khan would he never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity, is what the great Paul Nolan would say. Shout him out. And yeah, he would fumble it somehow. So speaking of AEW talent and awkwardness and fumbling and messing up, I guess, I put a tweet out there that got a lot of people mad about Aubrey Edwards. And here's our Aubrey Edwards segment this week. I tweeted this out and it got 126K impressions, 1K likes, 82 reposts / quote tweets, 195 comments. So most people agree with me. Clearly, I didn't get ratioed. A lot of people were under there trying to literally putting memes up like ratio. And they're like, she's not even doing anything. And I quote tweeted and said, Aubrey is god awful, dude. Holy shit. And it's because I noticed it while watching it live, because I live stream watched this with you guys Wednesday nights, PWT live show, the most can't miss pro wrestling live show there is. And I don't know, someone tweeted this out. The transition into the Monet Maker is everything. I don't really like this finish. A lot of people are shitting on it. And just people are like, why are you watching Aubrey? Like, you should see the responses. Well, we'll see them. You should see them. We're going to see them if you're watching the show. I'll read them to you if you're just listening. And this is a two-parter because I had another tweet about Aubrey that most people, no one wanted to come and get triggered underneath because they know I'm right. So hopefully I don't get pulled for this, but here, I'll turn the volume down. Here's Aubrey. So, and I'm like, just watch her. They're like, why are you just watching her? Well, she's distracting. Like, first and foremost, like, look at her selling. So already the clip starts. She's at the top left of my screen, guys. Do you guys read books? Do you guys read? I know the PWT universe reads. I don't know about you freakazoids out there going, oh, why are you even looking at her? Well, why is the live watermark in the top left of the corner, folks? Why? Why does WWE and AEW both have the people come from the left side? You guys? Okay. Why do people exit stage left primarily and enter stage left typically, you know, or the action's going on if you're into plays or anything, that things are going on left and then they enter stage right into whatever's going on center stage, left stage. Why? Because we read left to right, folks. So I don't know like why this needs to be explained to people. Aubrey's literally in the first thing you look at on the screen. Okay? So, moving along. Aubrey's selling some shit that she's not in the match. So why is she selling anything? Ooh, that was nasty. Go watch a UFC fight and tell me if you see Dan Miragliotta selling an elbow. And then people put gifs of like, oh, a referee about to jump in between a guy getting like slaughter KO'd in a boxing match. And they're like, stupid. Why do you get? It's like, dude, that's not him doing goofy shit. That's him questioning whether he's about to stop this fight or not and possibly saving a man's life. You know, like this woman is acting the opposite. She's like, ooh, that was nasty. A referee isn't going, ooh, what a nasty move. Now, like when Bam Bam Bigelow and Taz and ECW fall through the ring and the ref is taken completely off guard and is shocked and, oh, okay, that's where the ref has to sell. When the ring collapses with Brock Lesnar and the Big Show, okay, the ref's got to sell. When the ref takes a bump, okay, you got to sell. When the ref's ejecting, okay, you got to sell. You got to be, you as a ref, if you see someone get hurt, and it's so gruesome where you're like, ooh, with your shoulders up the way she is grabbing her neck and your job as a shoot ref is not selling your own neck. Ooh, that probably hurt her. Owie, my neck. I can feel it in my neck, guys. That means you're an awful ref. You shouldn't have that job. The job of the ref would be to check on her to make sure that her neck isn't like, do you guys know what I mean? The job of the ref is, oh, is the fighter okay? Because I'm not fighting and I'm supposed to protect the fighter. So instantly she's got it ass backwards, just right there. You know, like I haven't even hit play yet and she's already offending me. Okay, so continue along here.
Nobody home. Suitsy.
We'll turn the volume off so we don't get Don Stevens. So she picks her up. Look at Aubrey, the power stance now. So now I'm like, okay, she's doing whatever, but she's also like got her hand up like, are you okay? Like they're doing a move. Why is your hand up? So she made me look at her because she's being distracting over here, selling moves. Now I'm looking at her because I'm like, what is she doing? But also I'm not really paying attention. And then she goes in this wide power stance. Okay, boom. Now I'm like, why is she doing that? Hits the move, whatever. Now look at this cover. Now, right here, where's the ref? Okay, there you go. So she's late as shit. Look at how high, and Bryce Remsburg does this too, where they go so fucking high, dude. And Remsburg will literally, he's worse than Aubrey. He will jump like in the air on his knees and then come down. And it's like, what are you doing, man? These overly expressive countings. So like she's already pinned. She's already, look at. Like, do you see like Monet, like here, Monet's got her covered and puts her head down for like the one, like she already thinks the ref's making a count. Aubrey's not even there yet. 1, 2, 3. And then look at this. Ring the bell with like that over thing. And then look at this. Like, what is that? What the fuck are you doing? And then she looks over at the keeper to get the belt. Okay, makes sense. You bring her the belt. You give her the belt, but like, what is going on, dude? It's not this shit. And point at the winner. That never happens in a fight, even in an official boxing match or a fucking UFC fight, you don't raise your arm and point at the victor. Okay, you don't raise their arm till after. There's an official decision, it's called, folks. And that's supposed to be kayfabe in wrestling, and especially the sports-based wrestling that we all love, real wrestling.
This is great.
So, because people said that, what is she even doing? Pointing to the official decision? Pointing to the winner? Yeah, your job's not that. It's ring the bell, get the belt, hand it to the winner, check on the loser, or raise the winner's hand, official decision, check on the loser, see your way out of the ring. It's very simple, okay? And this is just, it's so egregious, guys. Oh, you're just a hater. Then I'm just a hater. Don't know what to tell you, sorry. But I triggered so many people. Okay. But a lot of people were like this guy, classic PWT garbage. This guy, Real Philly Phil, comes under all of this Twitter handle here comes under all of my posts. And I ratioed him here. And he even got more views than me on his, more interactions, but I ratioed him still. And I'm like, you're always crying, always seething under my posts. I love it. You know, because the dude just, I ratioed him with likes there, Dijak style. But you know, it's just classic PWT garbage. There's absolutely nothing here. Bro, if you didn't see nothing, like, you got to get your eyes checked, brother. What am I missing? What did Aubrey do? And I go, got to get your eyes checked, my boy. I know you're a burner account, but still, because they're called it's like a WWE logo. It's clearly just some hater account, but we all see it clear as day. And then this guy comes and goes, bro, getting torched in the comments and thought he was onto something. And yeah, I ratioed him. So doesn't matter. In general, right? I ratioed everyone with this. Like, the ratio is like 1K likes to not even 200 comments. So you know what I mean? Most people agreed with me here, which is fine. I don't care if I did get ratioed. I'm going to call this shit out. That's why I don't shy away. We do not shy away, folks. And so more examples. I don't know if AEW botches or All Elite botches, shout that account out. I don't know if they posted this video because, well, actually here, I have one more tweet about Aubrey. So let's talk about that first. So the next day, 4 days later, this clip comes out of Buddy Matthews. Now, this could be a work. And someone's like, think about it. When's Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley's wedding? And I'm like it's a worked injury. And I was like, I don't know. I don't pay attention to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't snoop around people's private lives like that. However, like, I don't know, why wouldn't you have Buddy written off TV in an angle? Like, why would he be injured and then work an injury? And like, if this is real, it's so ludicrous. And then Dax Harwood fucking revealed that he was working injured and hid it from AEW. And then Disco Inferno calls him out and is like, dude, you're just exposing how Tony Khan's whole, oh, we're the safest wrestling company and our track record is the best for health and safety. Like, you're just proving that that's not the truth. And it's so funny to me, man. It's so funny that this happens over and over again with AEW. But Aubrey Edwards, I go, why is Aubrey not doing anything until dude's tagged out and taking himself out of the ring match? So we're going to I'm going to try to not get Don Stevens for this, but here is Buddy. Maybe we'll full screen it. So he hurts his knee, slaps the mat. You continue along. He's rolling around like no X. Aubrey's not checking nothing. He crawls over. He says something to the wrestler, kicks out, right? He just off a basic Meteora. He's trying to fight through it. Can't fight through it. Makes the tag. He rolls out. Then Aubrey's all over it. But apparently, there's medical on. Someone who was at the show messaged me and said there was medical coming out when Aubrey finally did something. There was already medical coming out. So he's like, no, you're in the match, Malachi, whatever. It goes to commercial. He's hurt on the outside. These guys come get him. It's not a real X. So maybe it's worked, but like, is that how you write him off TV? That for his wedding? That's awful. Do a fucking angle look. So here's him limping off. You can see down here. For those of you just listening, he did a Meteora and then he hurt his knee, Buddy Matthews. And then Aubrey doesn't do shit about it until he's already being carried off. And then they come back from commercial and they're focused in on him. And okay, let's say it's a work, but I criticized Aubrey, not as people got mad, because that's egregious if it's real. That is Utterly egregious. So moving along here, that was my second post about Aubrey. And so All Elite Botches, I don't know if they posted this video because like mine was because we were sort of in communica and we were jarring back and forth a little bit here. Shout out All Elite Botches. And so they were like, I think it's time to update this masterpiece. And so this is a couple days before me. So I was copying from them. Yeah. Actually, no, my other one that went more viral was a day before. So anyways, I'm trying to just do segues here, folks. I'm just babbling here. Shout out All Elite Botches, right? No one owns making fun of Aubrey. That's for everybody to do. And people are going to hate me for this video. This is going to get Don Stevens. I already know. And I'm sorry, guys, but this is what I do. I don't report the news, okay? We just laugh at shit. So this is what I do. If you don't like it, I'm so sorry. Call me toxic. Call me a hater. I'm just laughing at shit. If Earl Hebner was doing this shit, Earl Hebner, he's not even a ref. If Little Nate was botching and doing egregious shit like this, I would be calling it out too and making fun of it, guys. I'm not just like, I watch all of AEW, okay? If I'm a hater, I'm real bad at hating. Anyways, here's All Elite Botches. Great work here. Let's take a gander at this.
You are never the focus of the match. It's always the wrestlers. You're there to help them tell a story. So I'm there purely for other people. I'm never, ever the center of attention. And I don't want to.
I'm going to get pulled for music for sure. Here, we'll play this without it. But she's dancing around. Like, what is she doing? Look at that. When she's right in the Jade and Bunny. I read someone wrote, look at her. I read some post where, here, we'll play this. We'll hear what she has to say. There was some long post on like Reddit or something where, soda water. Phil needs his soda waters. They're great. Where it was like a drama teacher or something. Some guy who's like at an acting school and he's like, yeah, my drama teacher, I showed this to her or to him and they broke down like how she's a clearly I don't fucking know. I'll dig it up. I should have dug it up for this segment, but we have a legendary referee who has comments on Aubrey that we'll talk about in just a moment. We're going to play this clip. So for those of you just listening, where it's just Aubrey doing all of the gesticulations, all of the things you've seen her do, overselling people's moves, things like that. And here's Aubrey speaking more.
I'm there to help them. It's not about like what my spots are or what I want to get out of it. Like it's not about me at all.
More examples here of her just selling people's moves, making faces. Like it's absolutely insane. The faces she's making here while Sean Spears is shoving something up Dustin Rhodes' arse. No diddy. So here we go. Here's her selling, reaching for the hot tag while someone's reaching for a hot tag. You know what I mean? I don't want to get pulled for this, so I'm doing my best not to. Like, look at her. Like, she's throwing invisible punches at invisible people. She's selling moves, dude. Oh, you just got hit. Let me sell it. Oh, dude, I would be so distracting if I was wrestling and she was doing all this. So for people just listening, it's just just look it up. There are Aubrey Edwards compilation videos of this. There's none of other referees. Here's what there's compilations of. Referees, like a million of them, different ones in one video. There's multiple videos of just Aubrey, selling stuff and just being over the top, especially in that pandemic era. This one's infamous for when she's pulling Jade Cargill off of someone and she's pulling her back so hard and you can see Jade's like, get off me. Like, stop pulling me so hard. Like, chill the fuck out. You can see her. She's like, get off me. Chill out. Like, stop. And she points at, yeah, dude, like Aubrey's just doing too much, man. She really told her too at the end of that, like, yo, back up. So I don't know, man. Aubrey, I'm so sorry.
Dummy. Yeah.
And like, if you guys get mad at me for that, what are you gonna like? I'm so sorry. I'm not the only one who thinks this. There's a reason. And legendary referee Mike Chioda reveals that and this was in December 11th, 2023, not that long ago, folks, 6 months ago or whatever. Mike Chioda reveals that another referee shut down Aubrey Edwards' chance of signing with WWE before she joined AEW. So yeah. She was denied, I think he goes on to say, I can't remember where it was linked, but it was just, she was over the top and they didn't want her there, and that's not like an indictment. You know, everybody gets turned down by WWE typically first, and then you make it there. You know what I mean? So it's not an indictment of her, but it's definitely, it's telling, you know. And Mike Chioda just revealed he's a legend. So don't blame me. Don't get mad at me for pointing out what I see and what clearly the people, WWE, the GOATs, sorry, they are. Like, name another wrestling company that's goated. Oh, they had a 50-year head start. That doesn't mean shit, though. They're still goated. Don't Jordan played before fucking whoever. He's the GOAT. I'm sorry. It came first. So, yeah, like they don't see it in her. So don't get mad at me, man. Get mad at Mike Chioda and the other people who agree with me. You know what I mean? I'm going to get shit for this clip. I already know, but it is what it is. And I bite the bullet for you folks. So speaking of biting the bullet, the next segment I want to bring you guys, this is a long one. We're going almost 2 hours here. I had a lot to bring you guys. But I was watching, or listening to rather, as I worked / watching 83 Weeks, or pardon me, it was Wise Choices, sorry, with special guest Kevin Kelly. And as you see, I have the timestamp queued up. I have actual stamps, pardon me. I did my homework for you guys this time. Yeah. I made sure I had timestamps. And so at 49 minutes, basically, Kevin Kelly, the first thing I wanted to bring to the show is he talks about Okada, and they were talking about New Japan and how taking Okada away from them really hurt them. But Kevin Kelly goes into great shout out Eric Bischoff. Go and check out, subscribe to their channel if you're not. Obviously, Eric Bischoff, one of the GOATs, would love to have a crossover at one point with him. And shout out Kevin Kelly. I got a lot of heat on X for sticking up for him. And I've defended him against people going, oh, he's a QAnon conspiracy theorist. You couldn't regurgitate more dumb, like what the media came out and said. This one movie. It's so funny how Hollywood, I'm not going to get all political and weird, but Hollywood's got a real problem with child people. You guys know what I'm saying? P3DOs, right? Like there's a problem there with that. And then they project it onto the rest of society. And there's a problem with them like protecting people like that. And there is, dude. So we don't have to argue. The evidence is there. And so this movie came out called, I forget what it's called. Silence of the Lambs. I forget what it's called. The Silence or something. He'll say it. And so people wrote Kevin Kelly off, and Ian Riccaboni buried Kevin Kelly. And people say this. They call him like a Donald Trump conspiracy theorist because he went and saw a movie and like did a giveaway for free tickets to this movie that Hollywood doesn't like because it's a movie based on a true story. I guess, I don't know, I didn't see it, but he, I guess, saw it, and now it's like a conspiracy movie, I guess. If you go see this movie, you love Trump or something. I don't know. So Kevin Kelly got written off. He had a problem. He'll tell you all about it, and he's actually suing AEW. And he exposes a lot about AEW here. And I'm not bringing this up to hate, but it's because no one's fucking talking about it. Okay? So I'm going to talk about it. That's why you don't want to miss goddamn Pro Wrestle Times podcast. I keep saying it, but it's got to be said, okay? So Kevin Kelly, I took a lot of heat too for standing up for him on X and just going, look, man, this is bullshit. Like, this is a fucking legend. They kept Excalibur, fired Kevin Kelly. You know, no one's as good as Kevin Kelly at this. I'm so sorry. He's one of the best. Oh, and then they all turn on him. Oh, you mean the old fat guy who, this is what people are spotting, who are botching names? Man, fuck you, you know? So Kevin Kelly, he talks to Eric Bischoff. Shout out Wise Choices. Love both of these gents. Would love to chop it up with them some point. Fingers crossed, manifesting. But yeah, right here at 49 minutes, 49, Awful's age. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. Awful ain't even on the show this week. He's catching strays. Big announcement with Awful and Phil coming soon. But yeah, 49 minutes in, they talk about Okada leaving New Japan and sort of how it affected New Japan.
And what that says is, okay, so let's be patient and let's be smart. But as you can tell, I get passionate talking about this because these are the things that, you know, we would be on the bus and we'd be talking about, because the boys themselves would see how the business was changing. And it's like, we need to be doing this and we need to be doing that. They didn't listen to us, but now they're forced to. Okada's departure changed everything because that's losing your home run hitter. That's losing the Great Muta. That's losing, that would be WCW losing Hulk Hogan. He meant that much to the promotion at this stage of the game. So again, they'll get it back. They have the right people in charge. It's just going to take time.
Let's get to a couple more questions here. Travis Mid.
So, they felt a big blow when Okada left. And yeah, dude, for everyone saying like working with New Japan is so great. No, dude, they scrubbed them of a bunch of their talent and they made them foot the bill to do these fucking co-promotion shows because New Japan's trying to get their stuff popping in America. And it's not, they're not doing terribly, but it's just not like transcending the way they hoped it would. And yeah, man, if I'm New Japan, I'm just getting far away from AEW, but they're in too deep now, and they don't want to lose that connection to like Okada and these guys. So it's kind of sad, man. It is actually sad. And the almighty dollar, it speaks a lot, pardon me there. But at 108 in the program, Kevin talks about his time in AEW. This is very, very compelling stuff. No one's talking about it. Shout out Eric Bischoff because I'm so happy he's getting into this like space. And so here's Kevin Kelly. He talks about his time, man, in AEW. And this is all quite, man, no one's talking about this. Like no dirt sheets are babbling about. It's so weird to me that this shit is pretty intense. And I think this came out like 2 days ago. No one's talking about it. You're going to hear it here first on PWT and then everyone else is going to pick up on it later. But here we go. Here's Kevin Kelly. Well, you heard it first on Wise Choices, but you want to see someone get outraged, an outrage channel. I'm outraged, folks. And so is Kevin Kelly. So let's see what happened here.
Instagram of Wrestling wants to know, why did you leave WWE, Kevin?
It was a financial thing. They were losing money.
Sorry, we're at the, I botched it. Liar! It wasn't 108. God damn it. Here, it'll be soon here.
Steve quits and Rock goes to Hollywood and business starts to peter out and the invasion didn't work and they lost a ton of money in the XFL.
About your time in AEW.
Here we go.
Well, started a year ago and how it began was me contacting Tony Khan. In fact, I just saw
Tony Khan,
a photo memory from a picture I had taken in Haneda Airport. Did a selfie, a little quick post, hey, heading home after a wonderful time in Dominion, blah, blah, blah. And it was there that Tony and I had reached out to Tony just to see if he needed me or was thinking of using me for the upcoming Forbidden Door, the New Japan collab. He got back to me and said, I want to talk to you. I want to find out what your schedule is. Okay. So I said, well, I'm going to be home these weeks, but then I'm going back and I'm doing the G1. So that's 5 weeks. And then after that, I'll be going back in September. And then, so we set up the call. And what he wanted was more than just one. He wanted me to be the announcer on Collision.
So he's like, we're like, are you wanting me for the Forbidden Door show? I'm going to come work for you for Forbidden Door if you want me. Tony goes, yeah, this will be great. Actually, I want you to be like the head guy on Collision. And it's going to be Punk's show and it'll be great. Okay.
The new show that was starting up. And it's okay. And he gave me the money. And I was already kind of like getting a little weary of these Japan trips,
Taking a lot out of you.
Yeah. 8 years. And it's a long time. So it was financially good. It was figured schedule wise. It was great. Living back home and flying out once a week to go do TV. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Sounds fun. New show. CM Punk. Let's go. So that was how it started.
What happened?
Everything was fine. Everything's going along just great. And then a couple of weeks in, like it was a personal thing with me and Ian Riccaboni of all people,
So this is important here. Ian Riccaboni of all people. I love Ian. I like his commentary. He ain't over with me really anymore after hearing this. Now, this is his side of it, but apparently he's going to talk about stuff that Riccaboni said in a Discord server. So that means there's receipts. And I'm willing to believe Kevin Kelly over Ian Riccaboni, because why would Kevin Kelly, if it's written down, you guys will hear about it. There's obviously receipts and there's a lawsuit coming of all of this. So clearly, so I'm going to believe Kevin Kelly, and I I mean, that's fucked. I think Riccaboni's a fucking idiot if this is true. I think he's fucking super dumb if this is true. Here we go.
A personal thing with me and Ian Riccaboni, of all people, you know, the ROH announcer. I just happened to be, after getting home from the G1 and jet lagged, and I go online and I always followed the New Japan board on Discord because I always wanted to know what the people were saying, and I interacted with some of the people from time to time, and it was fun. And he's on there just hammering me, Eric.
The Discord link below.
The New Japan board on Discord because I always wanted to know what the people were saying, and I interacted with some of the people from time to time, and it was fun. And he's on there just hammering me, Eric, just hammering me, and I couldn't believe it. And what set me off was that, you know, and he was like, "Oh, Kevin did this, and Kevin did this to me personally. I thought we were friends." And then the last thing he says is, "But where I really, you know, couldn't take anymore was when he began promoting a QAnon conspiracy theory movie."
Instantly, like,
wait, what?
And like, this is your friend, dude. And he's like in the Discord saying publicly, oh, he supports a QAnon conspiracy theory movie. Like, come on, man. That's fucked.
Because I went to see The Sound of Freedom.
The
and
Sound of Freedom. What was I saying? The silence. The sound of silence. The sound of silence. You gotta be kidding me. Isn't that? Yeah, dude. Oh my God, dude. Oh, that's the Simon and Garfunkel. The sound of silence. Oh my goodness, dude. That's so funny. The sound of, I was like, the silence. He'll tell you the name. The Sound of Freedom. That's what it's called.
Tickets for free. It's about child trafficking. How could anybody be against child trafficking? Well, apparently it's a Q&A.
He doesn't mean that too. He just misspoke. How could anyone be against child trafficking? He didn't mean that. He meant like, how could anyone be against like the child trafficking awareness and like people, you know what I mean? Because this movie, apparently they made it like years ago and then it couldn't get in the theaters, right? I'm a script writer, so I hear about all this shit. I never saw it. I can't remember who's in it either. It's like the guy who played Jesus in the Mel Gibson movie is in it or whatever, and they made it like years ago and no one in Hollywood would pick it up. And that's all I'm saying. Like, hey, that's all I'm saying, right? We talked about it before, we don't know, but kind of weird. If you want to go, yeah, the X-File, yeah, they're the black helicopters, but like, just to say that about your friend and then over a movie, like it's a movie, it's a fake movie that's based on a true story. So those are always fake anyways, you know? So it's not like this real, it's not like a documentary, yeah, made by InfoWars. And we're like, it wasn't that. It wasn't Kevin Kelly, like was giving free tickets to like, it's a Hollywood movie, like Fox produced it or something. Like Disney owned it when they merged with Fox or whatever. Either way, it's a movie, okay? It was made by real actors and professional Hollywood people, okay? So anyways, let's move along.
On conspiracy theory movie, Eric. I don't know if you knew that. And so that really pissed me off. I thought we were friends. So I contacted him.
By the way, Ian, if you're listening to this, you're fucking weird.
Oh, let's go, Eric. Let's go.
You're fucking weird.
Oh, come on now, Eric. That's not very fair to say about Ian Riccaboni. Eric, he's a great announcer for AEW. I mean, if Ian Riccaboni and AEW are healthy, then that makes for a good wrestling business. Eric, that's not very fair. Oh, come on now, Eric. It's not very fair to say Ian Riccaboni's weird. What does weird mean anyways, Eric? And might I interest you in some health insurance while you're at? Oh, come on now, Eric. You know that QAnon's not right. Come on now, Eric. You know in Alabama we don't like QAnon. You know Ian Riccaboni's quite all right, Eric. Come on, if AEW's healthy, Eric. Come on now, Eric. You're gonna call him weird. Oh boy.
Weird. And the people that think like you are fucking weird.
Yeah,
so there's that.
And so now I find myself like, you know, anytime I would post something on Twitter, hey, I'm promoting this cool thing. Oh, you're just a QAnon conspiracy theorist. Wait a minute. This is coming from, so now, you know, it was the dog whistle, right? So now all the other loonies are coming out of the woodwork. And
yeah, the sickos, they're great.
And so I had messaged him and was like, hey, I thought we were friends. What's going on? Oh, you really insulted me one too many times. I was like, I didn't remember insulting you at all. I thought we were friends.
I don't even know this guy, but I'm going to wake up every morning trying to figure out a new way to insult him.
Oh, jeez.
Eric, just that fucking smirk on his face. Oh, my goodness. I love him. I love Uncle E.
In fun of each other's baseball teams and each other all the time. How is this? Anyway, so I'm like, well, I'll just get over it. And I'm talking to my peers, and I'm like, hey, has Ian ever said anything to you? No, but you guys will work it out. Yeah, I think we will work it out. And we don't work it out. So if time's going on, I'm getting more and more annoyed about it. And I called HR. And I was like, hey, I might be making a bigger deal out of this than it really is, but I'm going to just tell you something. And you let me know if you think I should bring it up to you guys. Like, is it actionable? Is it something I should talk to HR about? Or is it just personality conflict? And I explained the whole situation, and they said, no, it sounds like an HR issue. Okay, I'm going to sit on it. I'm not going to do anything now. Now we get to about November, and I'm
So now remember the boys as well, okay? The boys talked about this. Okay, they didn't lay it out as good as Kevin Kelly, but there was issues with communication, with travel, HR, people don't get back to you. Tony Khan doesn't know if he paid for CM Punk's thing, but if he did, he'll reimburse him. Like all of these fucking things, man. Oh, travel, leave CM Punk at Wembley. Come on, man. Like it's not, oh, AEW hater. It's not that. It's just this shit was coming out about a fucking name a place, right? Name a store. What's a Texaco, a fucking 7-Eleven? I don't know. If this was happening at a Walmart, we would all go, dude, this Walmart's fucking up. Like, what's going on? What, like, you know? God damn it. And they're not putting a good show on. So they're ignorant fucks backstage and the product's shitty. Well, it just seems like it's fucking lousy people operating things. No. Like, come on, guys.
Here's what changed. They throw Tony Schiavone in the booth, and Tony takes my spot as the play-by-play.
So listen to this. Kevin Kelly this is fucking crazy, you guys. This is why you're tuned into PWT. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Listen to this. He goes to HR like, yo, this is weird, you know? Like, some fucking guys call me QAnon. I thought we were friends and blah, 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 blah. Personal thing, whatever. Go to HR, though. Like, is this something I should bring up? Like, should this be known? There could be a conflict. You know, I just want to cover my bases, right? All of a sudden, they move him off of commentary and put Schiavone as the lead commentator on Collision doing his job after he goes to HR with a problem. It's weird, huh? It seems like anyone who has any sort of problem with AEW gets ostracized, gets picked on, gets kicked out, gets things said about them, gets weirdo bots, rumors, all of these. So you mean to tell me that Tony Khan and everyone running things there are perfect, are absolutely perfect. And earlier in the show, we looked at Triple H, and he discusses no, we butt heads. And I wanted him to realize this, and he had to do his own thing to realize this when talking about Punk, right? Triple H is like, yeah, no. Like, it's not just everything's great, we're the safest, everything's the best. And then it comes out that dudes are being fired after going to HR with real issues, by the way. And also, you know, people are hiding injuries, and you're saying it's the safest company. Like, Triple H is going, no, yeah, I own up to that. This is a way different place. And he's a different person, and I'm a different person, and I saw this in him, but I was wrong the way I communicated it then, and maybe he was wrong too, and yeah, he rubs people the wrong way, but he's here. He's not doing that here. He's making a great difference. It's great to have him here. Okay, instead of, no, it's all great, and everyone loves each other. It's rainbows and happy and cookies and sugar and spice and everything nice. Yeah, you know, like it's not, it's soda water. Oh, this is great. Everything's a real awesome time. Yeah, we're so safe. It's, you know, it's none of that, dude. It's in WWE, they're owning up to the shits. So just think about how crazy this is. Like, you're crazy at this point if you think that all of this, like, mishandling shit, oh, but WWE had the guy who ran the whole thing and could cook the books, and only Vince who kayfabed everyone, and people only ever knew what he wanted them to know in his company. You mean he was doing crazy sex shit behind closed doors, got caught, and was using company money, and everybody sitting there like with egg on their face going, well, you made us all look like assholes. Like, that's what happened. That's what happened over there. And now the culture's completely different. We've seen it happen in just a short while. Okay. In AEW, we're seeing it progressively get worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay. Punk got bullied out of the fucking company. Kevin Kelly had shit said about him that was entirely untrue. or entirely misinformed at the very least. And he was bullied out of the company. He had his job replaced when he went to HR with a problem. So everybody who has some sort of issue gets buried, disappears, and you can tell how it goes. They bring it up backstage, and when no one does shit about it backstage and it doesn't get taken seriously, they get loud about it in public, and then they get publicly shamed for it. And I'm glad Kevin Kelly said, no, fuck you, I'm going to sue you. And no, fuck you, I'm going to speak fucking NDA. I'm going to speak about this publicly. Shout out Kevin Kelly. Sorry, guys. I'm very passionate about this here, but let's go.
And they said, no, it sounds like an HR issue. Okay, I'm going to sit on it. I'm not going to do anything now. Now we get to about November, and here's what changed. They throw Tony Schiavone in the
soda water
booth, and Tony takes my spot as the play-by-play, so I slide over to the third chair. I'm the only announcer to not call any matches on the pay-per-views. Like, I would show up and I'd be dressed and I'm ready to go, and the announcer assignments come out. I'm the only one to not be on there. I'm starting to take this personally. And I'm starting to wonder if there's a connection with what Ian said. Again, a certain sector of the fan base, being what they are, think that I'm a QAnon conspiracy wacko because I supported a film that talked about the horrors of child trafficking. And now I talk to HR. It's November. And I lay the whole case out. I send them all the screenshots. Okay, we'll take care of it. December, January, nothing. Hey, by the way, HR, did you guys ever do anything with that Ian thing I sent you? Yeah, we took care of it. The disciplinary committee met and it's taken care of. Okay, what happened? Well, we can't tell you because it's private. Okay, I get that, but I was the victim. Oh, well, sorry. So now I don't get any relief. And I don't know what happened. Nothing changed. He wasn't fired. And that wasn't my goal. I kind of just wanted an apology and to be able to move on. And I also wanted to know, is this affecting the perception of me within the walls of the company?
So he's worried, like on a personal level, like publicly, that's shitty because now that's out there and it's completely unwarranted. And then he's sitting there thinking to himself, well, HR is not getting back to me. Like, I just want to make sure that no one's talking shit about me like this in the company and like actively. Like, imagine you go to work and everyone's just talking behind your back and shit. Like, that's clown shit. So yeah, we all can understand he's probably feeling anxiety. There's some probable depression, some taken off guard. Like, I thought we were friends. We're in a fucking group text. We make fun of each other's baseball teams. Like, why would you do this? So yeah, let's let Kevin continue to talk.
And I'm talking to Mike Mansory, the co-executive producer with Tony Khan.
Oh, the co-executive producer. I'm the executive producer and the CEO and the COO. And, well, Mercedes Monet can be the CEO too. She's really great. Yeah, she lets me sit on her lap, tells me stories at bedtime. This is great.
And he's assuring me that nothing's going on. He's trying to get me back on these pay-per-views. He has no idea why Tony Khan doesn't want me on the pay-per-views, but I'm getting no answers and no relief. So then my mental health began to really take a serious.
And Tony, it's obvious he doesn't get back to people. Like, he just avoids it until it becomes a real thing. And yeah.
Downturn. This was really troubling me, and it was affecting my relationships at home. It was obviously affecting my work, and I was getting worse and worse. And beginning of March,
so for all you idiots who are like, man, Kevin Kelly was getting old and past his time, like he couldn't remember their names and he's botching, blah, 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 blah. All you guys talking shit. This is what he's going through. Oh, we need to be, the whole world wants to be sensitive and AEW for everyone, and we're the inclusive fucking company and all this stuff. And then look how you'll fucking shame this dude because he's a legend for botching some names when he's not even being booked. He's not being booked. HR is not getting back to him. People are calling him QAnon. He doesn't know if he's got to sit next to these motherfuckers at a desk. He doesn't know what's going. He doesn't know he doesn't know who's saying what. If his job's on the line, he's all anxious. He's not being booked. So he's like, well, what's going on? Like, we're trying to talk to Tony. Tony won't get back to him. Insane, man. Just insane.
March. It was the weekend of Sting's last show. I wanted to be there. I wasn't booked. And I went off. And I went off on social media. And I called the poor HR lady and left her a message. And I'm sure it was stiff. I don't remember what I said, Eric, but I'm sure it was stiff.
Were you sober?
And yes, I was.
All right, as long as it wasn't like one of those calls at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning after you've had a bottle or two of wine.
Nope, it was
that bites you in the ass.
Yeah, I just and I know what it was that finally set me off. The week before on Collision, I had done a little bit with Willie Hobbs. I think Will Hobbs is the man. I think he's great. And Will Hobbs.
Let's go, Will Hobbs. Shout him out. I love Powerhouse Hobbs.
Hobbs was in an ODQ match against Sammy Guevara. We set up the spot to where he walks in front of me. He thinks he hears me say something, and he says, "What did you say?" I didn't say anything about you. No, get up. What did you say? Did I hear that right? Give me your belt. What? Give me your belt. And he starts taking my belt off so he could whip Sammy Guevara with it. So it's a good little spot. And I see like a fan made a little thing and put it on YouTube. But I'm reading the comments just, because they're right underneath. And, QAnon conspiracy wacko, right wing, this, that, the other thing. Trump loving, suck ass. I'm like, I can't get away from this. So I blew my stack. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I leave stiff voicemail. And in the meantime, I'm trying to get in with the psychiatrist that they tout as, we have this mental health counseling as a team. Well, I need help, guys.
Oh, yeah, it's me. I do that job, too. That's why you couldn't get a hold of me, because I was actually running. I'm busy being CEO, GM. I'm an in-ring competitor now. If you didn't see my neck brace and my awesome tombstone I took. And, yeah, I'm also the counselor. So leave me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Haha. Jesus.
And I'm telling you I need help. I've told you I'm losing my mental health is suffering. I've told you this time and time again. And so I, on my own, am trying to find these psychiatrists out and contact them and tell them what's going on. Finally, I did. And talking to them all day Sunday and Monday. And we're supposed to fly because we were taping TV Thursday that week. So I was flying out Thursday morning to Atlanta. And Wednesday, the 6th, I got let go because of what I was saying online publicly about the company and the voicemail message that I had left for the nice HR lady.
So what are you going to do? You suing them?
Yeah, of course.
That's
right there. No one is fucking talking about this. There isn't one dirt sheet. There isn't one anything. Like, he's about to sue them, dude. Where's all the marks being like, oh, they're getting sued? Like Tony's and also Tony's getting sued or like the Jaguars are getting sued or something for some crazy shit. I don't know. Someone went down on a plane or something. Yeah. Hey, it wasn't me this time. I swear to God. I swear, pal. It wasn't me. No. I was busy playing with my kittens on another private plane. I assure you no paralegals were present, pal. But yeah, man.
It's unfortunate.
Fucking dirt sheets. Where they at?
Tell me about Tony Khan backstage. I mean, I've been back.
Oh, me, I'm great. Don't talk about NDA. Didn't you sign one?
I think I did 2 AEW shows early on. Didn't really spend a lot of time backstage. My impression is that Tony Khan has no understanding at all of creative, has no understanding at all of television production, has no understanding at all of how to format a show. Am I right?
Nope.
Am I wrong?
He's got good people around him that he doesn't utilize. His vision of what wrestling is, for me, works best on a small scale. People always wonder, why did PWG stay small? Well, they knew that if they went big, that it would get stale fast.
It's what happened to ECW. If you guys watch the ECW A&E biography, everyone knows the story of ECW, but that's what happened to them. They got TV, they got bigger, and it just killed them. You can't do that shit. You know what I mean? And WWE is funding them the whole time. So Tony Khan was such a fan. Everyone's like, oh, ECW. Yeah, WWE funded that the whole time. Paul Heyman fucking says it. I've said it a billion times. He outright says it on this A&E biography that at one point he went to Vince and was like, can you give me $500,000 until the next? And Vince is like, all right, I'll do it. And he just gave him fucking $500,000 to get to their next show or whatever. Like, this is in the middle of it all. So ECW was like what TNA can be for WWE or what AEW can be for WWE. But just basically, we talked about earlier in the show, WWE's working with Marigold and they're expanding. Like, they're not going to absorb all these promotions, right? Noah and TNA, they're not going to absorb everything. They're looking to go to Mexico and Puerto Rico. what they're going to do is just let these feds exist and then just have them be feeder systems to them, just OVW it up again. And then NXT can be where they sort of test. It's almost like they're the tryouts, or they're the developmentals for the developmental. You know what I mean? And it makes sense to do that and what did I tell you guys? NXT should not be on TV, right? Anyone who comes into WWE should be doing TV somewhere else, or should be not featured at all. Like I don't want to see their work until they, are on the main roster. Play me vignettes and get me hype for them. Or with the internet now, it's a little different. So you bring all of that internet hype sort of into NXT, because the mainstream shit translates differently, which is what Kevin Kelly's sort of saying. Like what Tony's trying to do is a smaller scale thing. So what's NXT doing? Sort of the AEW thing, but they're doing it on a smaller scale. Makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? They're being ultra progressive in NXT. If you guys haven't noticed what AEW claim to be, they're super progressive in NXT. And what are they doing? It's like a smaller scale. Let's work with smaller promotions. Feeder. Let's use NXT as like the entry barrier to feed talent to WWE from all these other promotions. It's fucking genius.
And they had to stay small to keep it special, to keep it niche. He wants to appeal to a niche audience with his vision of wrestling, but he thinks he can convince the people to watch on a grand scale.
Nope.
And the other thing that he's done is he's made himself the face of the company.
Unbelievable.
And
This is great.
He's the one. He's the one that's going now on TV interviews. I saw he and Darby Allin were doing like a TV promotion, local morning news somewhere. It's like, man, that's not his skill set.
No.
I thought he was a numbers guy, an analytics guy.
That doesn't appear to be his skill set either, because anybody who is an analytics expert would look at the analytics for AEW and go, fuck, I may have thought that I was on the right track, but I am clearly on the wrong track, because the numbers not only tell me so, they scream at me at the tops of their little number voices each and every fucking week. Mm-hmm. So how can this guy, who is supposedly an analytics expert, not look at the analytics of his own show and go, wait a minute, we're doing something wrong, let's shift gears? How does that not happen?
Well, numbers can lie, Eric. You can skew the numbers any way you want. Creative accounting.
Even those numbers don't lie, bro. I mean,
I know, but if you choose to look at the glass half full, you choose to look at the glass half full. That's, and again, that's where Meltzer and that's what he does. He'll
Dave getting called out by Kevin Kelly. Let's go.
He'll spin the numbers to make them not smell so bad. I think that can be done.
What's the morale like backstage?
It's the same. It as has been reported. What I always noticed was that there were a lot of people that were there that weren't being used, that wanted to be used, that had creative ideas, but that weren't getting through. So there would be a conga line of people outside Tony's office, waiting to get in to see him.
So see,
and nothing wrong.
Oh no, this is great. And he's going, nothing wrong with that. But do you see there's a conga line of people outside of Tony's office? They all want to see him. Oh, I'm just overwhelmed here. I gotta go see the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, God damn it, man. Cornette was right. What can you say? Shout out Mrs. Cornette, shout out the castle, man. You guys were right the whole time. And we knew it. And PWT's been right. And the good PWT universe has been right. And a lot of people are starting to wake up to that now. And yeah, man, it's silly, and it's not conducive of, oh, come on now, Eric, you don't think that if it's healthy, it's good for I don't know. If AEW being healthy means like just flushing money down the toilet, getting people hurt for a lighter schedule, like you're on a lighter schedule, but you're getting hurt all the fucking, like everyone's getting hurt in that company. It's not growing. It's not doing anything. It's been 5 years, it's half a decade. It's time, man. You know what I mean? That's a good chunk of time. And I don't know, man. It just seems, hopefully they turn it around. We all say that. We all got to try and preface it and be positive, but it's just unfortunate, So if it being healthy means like the sickos and all that, I don't know if that is a good thing anymore. You know, I love to see the graps too, but it's like, man, I thought by now we would be at like, I don't know, man. The start of AW was lit, you know. Cody saw the writing on the wall. It's just, we're not saying this shit to be negative. It's just true. And I know that there's different tastes in wrestling. Like, if you just like to throw on matches and watch them, that's great. But if AEW didn't exist, you would still be able to see that. AEW would be much stronger if it was just an indie show, if they just ran indies with his signed talent. And then he just randomly, like not randomly, but like once every 2 months did a fucking pay-per-view that's like a super indie. Once every 3 months, you know, it's like a super indie. And then maybe they get a little TV after 5 years. But no, they just went ass backwards. They just tried to be Tony McCon, tried to be WWE light right off the bat. And then their only thing they go is, well, we have long, awesome athletic matches where everyone gives their everything. And it's just like, damn, you know, that's not enough, you know? Oh, well, we're doing stories now. Look at the learning tree. Look at the Buck stuff. Oh, that's sports entertainment. And you guys don't like it. So you don't. It's just elementary level. It's shitty story. A lot of it doesn't even make sense. Most of his stories do not make sense. Like, everyone's tweeners. You don't know who to fucking cheer for. Oh, they have to hold your hand and tell you who to cheer for. Sorry. Then everyone, yes. And it's like, yeah. And that's not shameful, dude, because like in Spider-Man, do they hold your hand and tell you Spider-Man's a good guy and fucking Dr. Octopus is a bad guy? Yeah. Yep. They explain it. They explain it all along the way. They tell you why, who, where, when, how, all that shit. We don't get none of that with AEW, man. Or it's like this happens and then this happens and then this happens, and right? That's not how you write stories. Stories aren't just like a series of things happening. Okay, what a story is like, this happens because of this, you know, this happened and then that happened, so this happened, right? And to get there, they had to do this, you know, like, god damn it, it's been done for decades, years, millennia. God damn it, people have been telling stories. Tony Khan's not good at that, so move over, let someone else do it. It's crazy
with that. But I don't ever remember a long line of wrestlers wanting to get in to see Vince. There were people to talk to. You could talk to a Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe. You could talk to a Jack Lanza. There were agents that were respected that had Vince's ear that could take your message and say, hey.
See, so Vince didn't just listen to any and everyone, but he had people like Jack Lanza, like the various people Kevin Kelly named, who are people with great minds and brains. Obviously, look at where WWE's at, who had Vince's ear. So if it was important, so Vince trusted them to be the filter. If it's important enough to them, they'll get it to Vince, and then it'll get worked out from there. So Tony doesn't even have that. There's just a lineup of people. He's the final say. There's no one he trusts in his ear, as Kevin Kelly says. He goes, yo, there's people surrounding him who are awesome. He doesn't listen to them though, which is what everybody said. So we're all right.
So-and-so's not happy with what's going on. And Vince would say, tell him this to placate him, or bring him in and I'll talk to him. And Vince then could put the Vince whammy on them, and everything would
The Vince whammy.
He put the Vince whammy on you. You'd go in as pissed as could be, and you'd come out and he's patting you on the back and shaking your hand. What changed? Nothing really. I'm just happy now.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is such a truism. The Vince whammy. Because, you know, I've been there myself.
Yeah.
I'd spend 2 days going, when I sit down in front of Vince, this is what I'm going to say. This is how I'm going to say it. These are the points I'm going to make. And by God, I'm going to make my point. I'm not leaving that room until I make my point. And I leave that room, and I don't know if I made my point or not, but I feel so much better about myself.
Yes.
Nothing changed, to your point. Nothing changed. But God, I feel good.
Yeah. So, you know, so there was never that level of satisfaction with the wrestlers in AEW. And there was just a lot of people tripping over each other in catering and otherwise, with a lot of guys and girls just not sure of what their place is, which leads to unsettled, which means when they do get a shot, what are they going to do? They're not going to work from a place of confidence. They're not going to work from a place of, I know my business and I know my value. Watch me go out and protect my own assets and do nothing. Again, the object of wrestling is to let the audience think that there is pain being inflicted, pain being absorbed, but not really. Well, no, now I'm going to throw myself on my head to get over because that's what Tony likes. That's the perception. I'm going to do something wild and crazy here to get over. And invariably it doesn't work and it doesn't get over.
And it leads to a lot of injuries.
It leads to injury.
So wrestlers are throwing themselves on their head and doing crazy shit because that's what Tony likes. Yeah.
This is great.
Man, dude. This, and does he sound sour grapes? He sounds genuine to me. He just sounds like a man telling his experience who's been around the world and who's experienced different companies and et cetera, et cetera. Man, this, and no one's talking about any of this. No one's quoting this. No one's bringing this up on any other channels. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to me. That's why PWT's goated here. Let's keep listening. I'm just intrigued.
Which, becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of when I get healthy, then I'm going to be, I'm going to do more because that's what he likes.
Dat FTR. Oh, I'm working through injuries and working injured. Now I got to take time off again. Jesus Christ, man. You fucking, and then he's just talking shit to everyone. Is Kevin Kelly an old mad podcaster, QAnon? Dex? Fuck.
And it's, I wouldn't say it's dysfunctional, but it's just not functioning the way it should be, at least when I was there. Because again, there was more unhappy talents, more talents with just like, what are you doing tonight? I have no idea. Well, it's 5:00 and we're going on the air live in a couple of hours. Well, yeah, that's why I'm waiting. Okay. It was a lot of that.
We got one more question here before we let you go. Came in late. BP2K Uni wants to know, I just tuned in, and this was for you, Kevin. How much collaboration did you have with Callis?
So that's about New Japan or whatever. Round of applause for Kevin Kelly and Eric Bischoff. What an absolutely brilliant interview. And if you want to hear, he talks more about like his time in New Japan, etc. But yeah, just please and thanks, guys. Give it up for PWT because ain't nobody even talking about that. Like, who's covering that shit? Everyone just ostracizes fucking Bischoff, but the real ones know. That's why you guys tune into these shows. And John JID, an avid Universe member and listener, actually appeared on that show. He sent in a little super chat, and it was cool to see him. Shout out John JID, who's frequently in the chat. But man, this show has already been so good. We've gone for so long, 2.5 hours, but we're not done because it is time for everybody's favorite segment of the PWT show, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. So, man, Dave Meltzer, he talks out of both sides of his ass. All the time. He does it all the time. And here's him talking out of both sides of his ass when it comes to Chad Gable re-signing with WWE and how Dave Meltzer's fantasy mark booking Gable would have been booked in AEW. Oh my God, we get a little Dave Meltzer fantasy mark booker of the week. So Dave says, well, I would have figured he was gonna, re-sign. So instantly, the first thing, I would have figured he was gonna resign. What?
Yeah.
What?
You what?
You would have figured he was gonna resign. He's getting the best push of his career. He got a great contract offer. There's no certainties elsewhere. It's not like it's Ricochet, who probably is gonna do better in than he did in WWE. Bryan, financially and from a push standpoint. Whereas with Gable, they might respect him because he's such a freaking awesome wrestler, and he might get in there and in the higher well, isn't it all about awesome wrestling? I thought that's what AEW is all about, Dave. So they won't respect him, but I thought he's
Dummy. Yeah.
Imagine that. AEW might respect this Gable kid if he can. What a bunch of fucking idiots, man. Oh my God, Dave is such a dumb. What? And he might get there in the higher mix and work with the Okada type guys and things like that. Okada's not a draw, Dave. No one cares about Okada anymore. Okay, I'm sorry. And I love Okada. I have an Okada t-shirt. My girlfriend wears it to bed a lot. I snuggle me some Okada. Okay? I love him. Rocked with him all back in the day and everything. Japan against Kenny, all that. Before that, after that, love Okada. The fuck are you talking about, dude? The Okada level guys. Gable's a bigger draw than Okada. Jesus Christ. Which in WWE, he's never gotten the chance to be a singles guy at that level, but probably not. So is Sami Zayn a bigger star than Katsuchika Okada? Because Gable just wrestled him on pay-per-views and TV. I'd say Gunther's a bigger star too, and Gable was at that level, Dave. So don't know what you're talking about, bro. You are making shit up.
Liar!
But probably not. Probably closer to Pac, which is someone who's somewhat protected. But if you compare Pac's a super wrestler, he's a super wrestler. Oh my God. Oh.
Dummy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a super. He's not just a wrestler. No. In AEW, we have super wrestlers. I'm really serious. Have you guys? Oh my God, that's what it is. Have you guys ever seen South Park with Al Gore? Man, bear, pig, super AIDS. I'm so totally serious. Oh, I need that for the soundboard, you guys. Y'all remember that episode where it's like, no, it's not AIDS, it's super AIDS. Dave Meltzer. Yeah, there's not wrestlers here. Pac's like a super wrestler, and we have super wrestlers in AEW.
This is great.
Woo! Yes. I love PWT podcast. They don't beat him like a drum or anything like that, but Pac and Chad, who's doing better right now, who's getting more TV time, who's more in the mix, it's Chad by a landslide. So there you go. So Chad is more over. So this is what Dave Meltzer just did. He took time out of his show to say, to lie and say, I would have figured he was going to resign, but I said that he might not. And he's getting a great push and he's awesome. He won't be Ricochet or Okada level, but he'll be, so Gable's featured more prominently than Ricochet. So Dave's showing how ass backwards, like, oh no, AEW won't view Gable like Ricochet. What? Like Gable's featured way more even in WWE. Like these people are so backwards. Dave is such an idiot. But Dave basically just disrespected four people: Ricochet, Gable, Okada, and Pac, all in one fucking sitting there because he's so stupid.
Yeah.
And he just talks out of his ass, and it makes no sense, you guys. So Mark Coffey tweets out on Father's Day, I believe. Yes, your dad gets drunk and rates wrestling matches out of 5. Calls himself Dave Seltzer. Let's go. Mark Coffey listens to PWT podcast confirmed. But yeah, he has another clip here. This is Joe Coffey, so one of the Coffey brothers. And he responds to Wrestling Guru, who says Dave Meltzer rated Obafemi versus Wesley versus Joe Coffey 3.25 stars. He's joking, right? And here's Joe Coffey's response to that.
He doesn't have a fucking clue. That's because he doesn't have a fucking clue what goes into professional wrestling, because he's never laced up here. Do you know the people's opinions I respect are the people when I go through the curtain and they tell me if it's good or bad? That's who I respect.
Yeah, you're goddamn right, because Triple H and Shawn Michaels and them, they're not going to just not tell them if it wasn't shit or how to improve or whatever. And shout out Joe Coffey, you know, and that's exactly right. Even me, Phil Marks, fuck what I have to say. You're the one lacing up the boots, man. I'm just on Team Wrestler all the time. I'm on Team fucking Business and Wrestler all the time. First, every fucking time. Let's go. So shout out the Coffey brothers, because that is hilarious. So this is courtesy of @Meltzer Said What. Here's Dave and Bryan's scathing review of the Christian promo segment about Nick Wayne's dead father on the anniversary of his passing. So Christian on Father's Day, or the anniversary of Nick Wayne's dad's passing, you know, cut this promo, and here's Dave and Bryan's review of it, and then we are going to look at some hypocrisy here, courtesy of Meltzer Said What, the GOAT. So here we go.
Shayna, Nick, and Luchasaurus are in the ring for Christian's Father's Day celebration. And Shayna calls out Christian, and he does this long promo. And he says, today is the anniversary of the death of Buddy Wayne. As a child, it is. This can affect you in different ways. He says, Nick, your father dying was the best thing that ever happened to you because it brought you to me. I love you, son. And so Nick has a letter for Christian, and it says, to Dad, you are the greatest TNT champion in history. I can only dream of having half your talent, but I will keep striving to prove my worth. Love, Nick. And so then there's a giant picture in the ring, and he unveils a painting of himself, and he says, he says, Killswitch, did you paint this? And Killswitch nods. It's like a great painting. And Christian says, well, it's all right. But Nick, this letter means so much to me. Killswitch, he says, you need to do better. You need to be more like Nick. So Killswitch is all angry. He's about to leave. And Christian says, come back here. I have something to tell you. He says, at Double or Nothing, I came up short in my quest to win the title. But there's alternate footage of me showing my shoulder was up. But I'm not going to show that. I don't make excuses.
So this is just them reviewing it. You know what I mean? So we're going to, don't worry. Dave Meltzer said what has a point with this, okay?
I want to be the world champion. And my path to the title starts with winning the trios titles. So he says, yes, my gift to you.
Like, do you hear how fucking stupid this is? Yeah, my path to the world title will start when we enter the trios division. Holy shit, man. And this is supposed to be sports wrestling, dude. So they just, here's their review of it, right? Like here, they don't really care about here.
To company now. Tony Khan says, I am your father, and we will be the next trios champions, the faces of TNT now and forever. And the crowd's like dead for half of this. And it's far from Christian's best promo. And he looked like he lost his train of thought a couple of times. And by the time this was over, I thought, Nick missed Triple Mania for that. And that was a segment. So yeah. I guess they're going.
So, you know, Dave just trying to, oh, yeah, you know. And then, yeah, Nick Wayne missed Triple Mania to like go and get his, like Tony Khan's like, no, you can't be on Triple Mania. And then he's on this collision. He just gets his dad insulted on the anniversary of his death. This fucking shit ass stupid company, man. So then here, Meltzer said what? Of course, doing the Lord's work. I wonder what Meltzer will say this time. So here's Meltzer tearing WWE a new one over Reed Flair angle with an epic rant. So they just don't care. Fucking Nick Wayne misses Triple Mania to get his dad roasted by Christian Cage for the 1,000th fucking time. They don't have nothing to say because it's Tony Khan and it's okay and it's AEW. But 9 years ago, Dave Meltzer freaks out. You know, he ranted and got mad about, you know, the Reed Flair angle when they brought that up. You know, Dave talks about WWE's championship tournament came down to the expected Final Four of Survivor Series in Atlanta. Whatever. In an attempt to put more focus on the women's division, given the timing of the UFC event, they did a scripted pull-apart brawl from Charlotte and Paige to set up the match. And then Paige brought up Reed Flair and Dave just went crazy about it. You guys can read this here. It's not anything new for the company because they did this and worse in 2006 after the death of Eddie Guerrero and in 2013 after the death of Bill Moody, Paul Bear, right? Like he's just going lambasting them. He doesn't have one word to say, oh, so, yeah. He doesn't have anything to say about Christian Cage doing the same thing for the 100th fucking time. It is so stupid, man. It is far, and speaking of far past the point of embarrassment, Bryan Alvarez, just a pompous little fuck here. So Matt Hustwaite says, I work in network television. Much of my job revolves around ratings, and even I think it's wildly stupid how hung up many in the wrestling fan base get on demos being an end-all, be-all metric for a company that is quote-unquote winning. It's getting to the point of embarrassment. So Matt Hustwaite, you're fucking dumb. And I don't care what TV network or where you work around networks, you're stupid because guess what, dude? It does matter because AEW are the ones who say the fucking ratings and the demos matter. Chris Jericho called himself the demo god. They're the ones who said that. So that's what everyone goes by. Now they want to shift the goalposts. Okay. So what metric then, Matt Hustwaite? What metric then are we going to compare them to? Bryan Alvarez pipes in and goes, actually, it was far past the point of embarrassment long ago.
Dummy, yeah.
Fucking stupid idiots, man. So, okay, what's the next metric? Pay-per-view sales? They don't do pay-per-view, okay? So what's the next metric? So AEW's got them beat, but WWE doesn't want to do pay-per-view, so it doesn't matter. It's moot. So then what's the next one? Okay, streaming service. WWE's got them beat. What's the next one? Live shows. WWE's got them beat. What's the next one? Quality of show. WWE's got them beat. What's the next one? You know what I mean? What name? Merch sales. WWE's got them beat. So yes, the TV does matter because that's what they want to tout and use as the metric. So that's the metric. Now they don't want to use it because it doesn't work, and they're coping like what you're doing, Hustwait. So it does. Yeah, we get it. Cord cutters, TV's dead. But then look at all the other metrics, and they want to talk about, oh, they went up against NBA with Kevin Hart and they beat them. Number 2 in cable. Okay, so then you're gonna get cooked for the TV ratings because all they are is a TV show, Matt Hustwait, and they're not on streaming. So if they're just a TV show, then the TV ratings matter because it's not pro wrestling. Do you understand that? It's not. There's no PC. There's no house shows. There's no territory. There's no loop. There's nothing. They share a territory, the Florida territory, with WWE, who have a fucking thumb on it. So it's only TV. So now tell me a TV show, another one that doesn't have a streaming deal, where the fucking TV ratings don't matter. Matt Hustwait, I welcome you to fucking tell me a TV show that doesn't also have streaming, okay? That is, the TV ratings don't matter. Jesus Christ. It's insane. It is embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing long ago. Look at this fucking room. That is embarrassing, bro. God, we've almost gone 3 hours. So Dave Meltzer on whether Trick Williams or Braun Breaker will be bigger, be star in 5 years. Who will be bigger? It's a hard one because this Trick has to evolve a little bit more and get better to be the top guy. Now, remember, guys, I've been exposing the Dave Meltzer agenda against Trick Williams. He fucking hates Trick because Trick outdraws Ospreay and all of AEW. So he's trying to bury him before he gets main roster because, yes, Trick needs a little work, but he has fucking star written all. This guy's the future, you know? So I think he's got something, a real charisma. Braun doesn't have that same charisma, but Braun's a top guy too. Braun's a top guy too. No, he's not, Dave. And if you're talking in the future, okay, cool, but he's not a top guy. So, like, pay attention to what you're saying. I don't see Braun as being the guy you could build the whole company around. What a fucking idiot, Dave. Oh, my God. I can't wait till that happens and we come back to this segment. Trick could be one of the 2 or 3 guys that you do. True. Because he's got the cool factor. Yeah, and Dave Meltzer, of course, knows about cool with his backwards hat and headphones and hi, cool kids, right? So Dave is the arbiter of cool. But then here's his ratings, his NXT Battleground star ratings, and we're going to read it here. And you had to know what he was going to be a fucking hater. Like, you had to know. So women's ladder match 2 stars. I hope you guys can still see that. Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus the OC, 3.25 stars. Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler, 3.75 stars, which, okay. That was, I love Lola, but that match wasn't super over with me, but I don't know. Dave is gonna Dave. Obafemi versus Lee versus Coffee. Great match. Probably match of the show. Or Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace, 3.7 match. For me, probably match of the show. And then Trick versus Ethan, 2.75. Now, it did feel rushed. It wasn't the best match. I'd probably give it, like, if Dave, because we know to Dave, 2.75 is like him being insulting because the rating's up to like 7. But if you're being fair out of 5, yeah, I'd give it like a 2.5, which is like an average, like right in the middle. So I actually don't fault Dave, but he's going to give Trick 2 stars. He's going to shit on Trick. He's going to go question him the whole time, and then Trick's going to prove him wrong because Dave has an agenda against Trick, which we absolutely know. Now the last piece I want to bring to you guys at PWInsider.com. Shout out Dave Shearer, friend of the show, great guy. Never met him. He just doesn't know he's a fan of the show yet, or pardon me, a friend of the show yet. But he's tremendous, and there's an article. We're going to read it together. And he used this picture of Dave in his messy ass room. And he said, and at PW Insider says, hopefully the last set of Dave Meltzer questions I will ever have to answer. And there's an article here accompanying that, and we are going to check this out because it's brilliant stuff, guys. So you can send us questions about questions for PWInsider.com, Q&A at PWInsider@gmail.com. So Dave Meltz, so this is just questions, and he answers a set of questions here, and there's a premium version. Consider joining PWI Elite or whatever. And shout out PWI. I think the fairest, best wrestling news. I think they do their diligence. And shout out Mike Shear, or Dave Shear. Pardon me. Did I call him Mike Shear? My bad. Dave Shear the whole time. Too many Daves. I'm a dummy. But you can send us questions for the PW Insider Q&A here. Dave Meltzer took issue with Mike Johnson. Sorry, I'm thinking of Mike Johnson, thinking of Dave Shear. Mike Johnson, Dave Shear, they all had a little problem with Meltzer there. And so sorry about that if I conflated your name there, Dave. So Meltzer took issue with Mike Johnson's story about Ricochet, claiming a source close to the situation disputed what Mike reported. Of course, Meltzer was wrong, but my question is this. Did he just expose to the world that he doesn't do his due diligence when it comes to the actual job of reporting? He claims to be a reporter, but he takes the word of one person to dispute the actual real reporting of a respected journalist. Isn't a reporter supposed to get at least two separate sources for a story, and shouldn't he have gotten more than that if he was going to contest with someone reputable like Mike Johnson reported? Yes is the answer. But so Shear responds. He says, okay, first and foremost, as I said before, I really don't want to talk about Dave Meltzer on here on this site anymore. Through his reporting since AEW started, he has shown the world that he's all about. So what he's all about. So talking about him here is just a waste of time. Sure, it's one thing. Sorry, there's typos in here, guys. Shout out Dave, but like, goddamn, it's one thing to poke fun. It's one thing to poke fun at him on X, which he definitely deserves given the arrogant way he carries himself and reports on wrestling. But here on the site, I don't think he deserves space any longer. Give me all the space, Dave. I'll take all the Meltzer space because I love it. Okay, it feeds this channel. Talking about him now is like talking about Vince Russo to me. They are cut from the same cloth. But what he did, bro, come on. I love the wrestling business. But what he did last week was so egregious and totally bereft of any journalistic integrity that I feel that I have to answer your question and cover his hijinks one last time, only because he brought Mike Johnson into it. For those who missed it, Meltzer chose to question the story that Mike broke about Ricochet giving WWE notice by saying something to the effect of Ricochet's situation was, quote, up in the air, when it was not. Meltzer's verbiage called Mike's report and credibility into question. His reason for doing so, one source supposedly close to the situation, which Dave makes up all the time, disputed what Mike reported, so Meltzer ran with the quote story. Yes, you read that correctly. Meltzer likes to think that he's a top reporter in the business, but as you stated above, he clearly showed that he isn't. No credible journalist would break a story based on what one person close to the situation told him, let alone dispute the report of a highly respected colleague under those conditions. You know, and that's where I got heat with Sean Ross Sapp with the whole Punk thing, because Sapp was like, no, Punk's not gonna be in W. Like they made a fucking story about it. I swear to God. And then when Punk's there shows up again, all of a sudden he starts spilling his guts on all of the stuff and like, oh, we have the insider on his contract and everything. And I said, I'm going to stop going at Sapp, and I'm not going at him, but I'm just reiterating, like, this is what happened to me too, essentially. And, you know, Sapp got mad, and then Sapp came out and said, no, I was told by one person Punk would return and one he wasn't. So I didn't want to go out on a limb and say he was, but you went out on a limb and said he wasn't, or he's not expected to, or whatever. So, you know, like it's just don't say anything if you guys don't want to catch flack for this shit. It's really simple, you know. But anyways, with that said, let's look at what went down. Mike heard about the Ricochet story and got multiple sources to confirm it. He had enough confirmation to run the piece the day before he actually did, but he still had some things he wanted to vet, so he held the story for another day. He finally fleshed out everything that he wanted to know and cover, and then he broke the story, you know, like a real reporter does. Then Meltzer does what he does. What makes Meltzer so despicable to me, holy shit, in all of this is his complete and utter lack of respect for Mike and his inability to show any semblance of professionalism. Now, Dave Meltzer, and I know this for a fact, he fucking doesn't like Mike Johnson because Mike Johnson gets actual WWE sources and they will not talk to Meltzer. You should do even more due diligence than you normally do if you're going to dispute it. Exactly. And maybe in this case he did. It's like that old trope. If you come at the king, you best not miss. Shout out Ariel Helwani. So what Meltzer should have done, if he had actual sources to ask, was to multi-source his story, flesh it out, and then report whatever it was he was going to report. What did he do? He chose to try and taint a legitimate story by the best reporter in the business. Goof close to the situation. I won't say what kind of behavior, what that kind of behavior is, but it's sure as hell not good journalism. Since there were more Meltzer questions in the queue, I will answer them and then hopefully be done with this guy forever. So there's a couple more, guys. This is a long one today. Why is that every time that I see Dave Meltzer retweet someone who asks why he doesn't take AEW to task for the things that they do to hurt their ratings, he always says that they don't read what he writes and that he does it more than anyone else. Shears says, if you're being fair, there's one thing that you have to consider, and that's that a lot of the stuff that some of us think is ridiculous, like the clip below, Meltzer thinks is 5-star wrestling. If he thinks what Will Ospreay and Reef Phoenix do below is good wrestling, he can't be expected to say that it isn't. That's my job, and I will gladly do it. Now, the arrogant way he talks to people, there's no excuse for that kind of behavior, especially from a senior citizen who should know better. Exactly. So I don't know. So yeah, there's Triple H's thoughts. Mike, Dave Shears responding and tagging at Mike PWInsiders and saying, yo, we talked about this and this is utter shit to me, you know, when he sees what Phoenix and Ospreay are doing. So why do people cite Dave Meltzer like he's credible when he is wrong so much of the time? Dave says, my guess is because they are aggregator sites and they will copy the work of anyone that they find even somewhat credible. I can't say for sure because I don't run one of those sites, but it seems like it's an attempt to get clicks, whether there is any truth to a story from anyone that they cite or not. To some people, credibility doesn't matter at all, which is sad. Do you think that Dave Meltzer got the idea to color his hair as an old man from Vince McMahon? I honestly can't say, because as someone who is 2 years younger than Meltzer and 16 years younger than Vince, there is no way in the world I would color my very gray head of hair. I have earned every one of my gray hairs and they are a part of who I am. Coloring them with bad dye, it's not something I would ever consider. Roasting them. I am happy and content with who I am at this point of my life. I don't need to pretend I am younger than I am. Yeah, what's up, young Meltzer? Plus, bad dye jobs don't fool anyone. Vince looks completely ridiculous now. Yeah, he looks ludicrous. You can send us so you can send them questions. Shout out Dave Shears. I'm gonna ask that fool to get on the show. And with that, that was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. Guys, this was like a 3-hour-long PWT podcast. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me, your boy Phil Marks. I appreciate you all so much. I assure you I have some crazy interviews lined up. Slowly going to build them up too. You guys are going to see how I lay this out. Yeah, man, lots of stuff going on. Very, very, very appreciative of you all listening. Let's get up to 4K subs on the Clips channel, at Pro Wrestle Clips, pardon me, on YouTube, and at Pro Wrestle Times on YouTube. Let's get that up to 1K. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of the members, the Tribal Chief members as well. Scully Vibes, Andre Adams, The God King, Bob Gilgamesh, LK Sass Prophet, Peter, JT, Chris Benoit, Jamie Earhart, Cruz Madrid, Derek Hansley, McBlain, Eric Galper, and Ninja Boy, Excalibur, Eat Your Heart Out. Don't forget the Patreon's going to start popping off again very soon this week, so consider joining that. You can get our whole back catalog of shows and stuff, but I'm going to do like unique Patreon content. Members only show Thursdays. I go live every Wednesday, and I go live Saturday or Friday or Sunday when there's a PLE, but I'll always let you guys know. Thanks so much for hanging out. God damn, what a great episode. Round of applause for you all. That was the air horn. I'm a dummy. And yeah, I've been Phil Marks, man. I'll see you all in the Upside Down. Peace.